What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 293. Today, our guest is the Ghosty Bros. It's Eric and Ben, two of the homies, man. They come on and talk about they tell their story about their little ghost hunting operation they have here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty creepy. Sorry I couldn't get it out on Halloween, but it's out. So, hope you guys enjoy it. Check out their YouTube, their TikTok, and it's just cool to see, again, it's cool to see people in Lubbock doing the things that we like and the things that we are interested in. I treated this podcast as if ghosts are real, like I said, as real as the table that we were using. I believe it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you believe. Tell me about your story. We'd love to hear it. Other than that, you can support the podcast by subscribing to us on YouTube. That's a free and easy way. You can rate and review on Apple and Spotify or wherever you listen. And you can hit the Patreon, patreon.com/snakepitstudios. That is a $1 tier. We talk once a week about, the week in music and all that. These are great ways to support us. You can also come out November 5th to the Snake Pit Election Night Special. We're recording at Izzy Money Vintage. Shout out to that boy. We're going to be talking politics, and we're going to just have some fun and see who, have a little watch party podcast, I guess, to see who the next president's going to be. So come out to that. Thanks, guys, and I hope you enjoy the episode. All right, here we go. Can y'all sound good?
Yep.
You can pull those mics closer to y'all. We're here with some ghost hunters, man. God damn it, I'm so fucking excited for this one. Can y'all just a little introduction to who you guys are?
Sure. I'm Ben. I'm one of the members of the Ghosty Bros. I don't know. You want to know where I'm from and all that jazz too?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm from Burke Burnett, Texas, which is quite a few ways up the road, right outside Wichita Falls, on the Oklahoma border, off the Red River. So been here now since 2008, and came up here because I went to work for the largest grocery company in Lubbock. So got hired on there, and now I'm just kind of stuck here.
Nice. Texas boy.
That's right.
Yep, so I'm Eric, the other half of the Ghosty Bros. Been a little bit of everywhere. Joined the Air Force and went to California, got stuck in Clovis, New Mexico, and then got out after 10 years and settled down over here.
Where are you from?
Birmingham.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so a little bit different, not too much different though.
Do you like Alabama, the college?
Not too much into sports, but my whole family says Roll Tide, so that's what I got to do.
Is there such thing as a Greenbow, Alabama?
No, there's not, but there is a Bayou LaBattery.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor and scoot closer to that mic so we can hear you a little bit more?
Yep.
There we go.
Better?
Yeah, we're good
Cool.
now. So like you guys said, you were at a barbecue and you guys were talking ghosts. Is that how y'all started this?
Yep. So I think that we were at a mutual friend's house. I believe we were my wife and I and maybe some other folks were talking about some of the experiences that we had when we went on our trip to Arizona. So talking about ghost hunting and all that jazz. And so Eric pops up, gets that little prairie dog hop, and he's like, "Somebody's talking about ghost hunting," and we just
My
hit it
radar
off.
went off because I was like, you know what? I used to do that back in the day. And I'm hearing some stuff that I like.
So you guys both did that before y'all even met each other?
Yeah.
I did it a little bit back in high school, a little bit more of urban exploration. Never really had any equipment because I didn't have any money for equipment. So
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
33.
So in that time, was ghost hunting even a thing?
Kinda. Ghost Adventures was still kind of big.
Okay.
Ghost Hunters had been around for a long time.
Why am I saying it like that? You're not much older than me. Jesus Christ.
I think I'm probably a little bit more older than everybody else. I'm almost 40, so I'm 39.
So how did this get into your life? What were you?
So I'm pretty old school when it comes to some of the paranormal stuff. There was old Fox shows sightings. I don't even know if some of y'all even heard of sightings or not, but sightings, unsolved mysteries, things like that. Like the old unsolved mysteries where the host was scarier than the ghost. I mean, straight up. So I've been watching things like that and always wondering, how much of this is real, how much of it's not. But I was always trying to find, kind of like Eric with the whole urban exploration. I feel like that's something that we all do as teenagers, though.
I feel like that's scarier than ghost itself, man.
People, I swear to God, people are scarier than the ghosts and the paranormal. Like, people, like the ghosts, you're going to get you may get a little spooked here and there, but a real person, you really don't know what they're going to freaking do. You don't know what you're going to get when you come across somebody. So when we're out doing our thing, you know, the most scariest thing is like encountering someone
like a bum or something.
Yeah.
Drug, a needle or something. I don't know.
And
We actually
An
have
animal?
had experiences where we
An
think
animal?
people break into places that we're at. There was one when we were up in Plainview at Connie's. The door slammed so loud. At least that's what we believe it was. We didn't catch it on camera, unfortunately. But there was a door slam so loud, we literally had to sweep the building because we thought somebody got in. But all the doors were locked and everything, and yeah, so people was definitely terrifying. We try to go during the day.
Okay.
If it's an abandoned place where we don't really have to get permission to go, we'll go during the day just to scope it out and see what it's like, see if we have any vagrants or anybody
hanging out in the back before we come after dark, and then really get it going.
Yeah.
Now I want to know. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Eric.
This one's gonna be great. You want to wear the headphones? I want to know. Well, hold on. I got a few things actually. I dropped my 15-pack of beer. That's why all these beers are right here. Just want to put that out there.
Did the ghost knock it over?
It was you. Your fucking spirits that you bring, apparently.
I bring it out.
There's a lot of different angles we're going to take in this podcast. I'm going to approach this podcast as if ghosts are as real as this fucking table.
All right.
And as real as science, and because I believe it. I told you I spent a lot of my childhood in Post, Texas. It's an old town. It's creepy. It's worn down.
Yep.
It's kind of ghetto. I experienced my first ghost there when I was 14 years old. That was about as real as I can ever explain it. What was y'all's first time ever experiencing something?
I think I was 12. 12 years old. I was living in Nashville at the time. And my grandfather was really sick. He had leukemia, and we were staying down in Alabama with my grandparents. The other set of grandparents. It was the night that he died, and I actually remember waking up distinctly to the feeling of fingers moving through my hair. Woke up, didn't know what the heck was going on. Looked around, nobody was there. And about 30 seconds later, and this is the middle of the night, maybe 2, 3 in the morning, we get a phone call. The house phone rings. And it was my mom telling my dad that he had passed away. So I always felt that was kind of like a saying goodbye kind of thing. And after that, I've always just kind of tried to figure out if that was legit or not.
Was there any fear in that?
No,
No?
not at all. It was a very comforting feeling. The energy in the room was it was just comforting.
Alrighty, what was your...
I think that I'm trying to think back, and it's hard because, like I said, I am almost 40, so I am old. But thinking,
Oh, there's one right there.
oh shit, heard me talking about him. When I was a kid, there was a couple older ladies across the street that lived from me. Like I said, I'm from Burke Burnett, and not a lot of people know where that's at anyway. But I'm from there, and small town, everyone knows everybody. There was these couple old ladies. I was probably 6 or 7. And there was these 2 old ladies that lived across the street, and one of them, I think that they were probably in their 80s and 90s thinking back, but one of them, I used to go to her house every day. I'd cross the street, she'd give me a little carton of milk, and then I'd leave. She passed away, but fast forward after all that, after funeral, I remember looking out while the house was still vacant, after she passed, and I remember looking out and seeing her in the window just waving at me. And then I was like, Mom, Miss Juanita's still at the house across the street. And she's like, no, she's not there anymore. Give you the typical parent to kid talk. Oh, she's in heaven now. So I'm like, well, she's waving at me in the window. And of course she looks and there's nobody there. But that was the first time I feel like I saw something, actually felt something. But to be quite honest, most of my bigger, I'll say better, I guess, experiences have come as an adult. Actually looking for things, and I think a lot of it comes from being, as an adult, being more open-minded, so now that I've gotten to that point now, I feel like I see more, I feel more, and I've experienced more just in general.
You don't think that's the same a child who has no idea what the hell's going on,
Right,
and an adult who has an open mind? You don't think that
there could be a
that
connection
door is
there?
kind of the
Yeah,
same?
I mean, I feel like everybody, should be kind of open-minded to everything, to anything, to be honest. Because there's always more than one way for something to happen. I've always said 3 + 1 is 4, 2 + 2 is 4. There's always another route to get to that. to get to that thought.
That's what's going to be so interesting about this, because I see it as so many things: ghosts, demons,
Right.
interdimensional beings. I think it's all of it.
Right.
What's that shit called when it's on like imprinted in the walls? What do you call it? Yeah, like just that, like the memories imprinted in the wall.
Right.
All kinds of shit, man. I think it's all fucking real. It's
Well, I mean, let's be real. You know, we're human beings right now. We're sitting here at this table, talking to each other. We have this gigantic freaking universe. You know, not just other planets. Universe. You know, universes out there potentially. There's like, and you're telling me that everything that we are doing here right now, it's literally just us. Like, there's nothing else out there in this big, gigantic freaking universe. It's just our pathetic human being selves, and that's literally it. I mean, there's got to be more to everything, I feel like. That's just my opinion. I just think that there's got to be more than just, you know, the five
just
of
this
us.
3D dimension that we see.
Yeah.
So when y'all started doing this, were y'all already doing YouTube and all of that, or was it just for the experience?
Well, when I started doing it, it wasn't, I mean, like I said, it was without equipment or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was just going out, urban exploring. Friends in high school telling me, hey, there's this cool, creepy house that has a hospital bed in the back of it. Dare you to go in the back. You know, in the
Well, this
middle
is
of the
in
night.
Alabama, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking creepy ass state to begin with. You guys,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
got it
Oh,
going on
we
over there.
can say fuck. We're good to cut.
Oh, you're good, man. You can
just
say whatever you
making
want.
sure, yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah, so that YouTube was always kind of in the back of the mind. But that was before even YouTube was really a thing. And as far as when we started doing it, we talked about it. He had a channel previously before we started doing our own thing, and we kind of were just like, yeah, you know what, this will be cool. Let's make some videos, and yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, I was kind of doing. I try to get into the, like I said, I'm a big gamer, so I love gaming. So I try to get into the the Call of Duty Warzone phase when it happened in like 2019. So I was like, I'm gonna start posting videos of my gameplay and be one of those cool kids that make a lot of money doing all that stuff. That didn't happen. Yeah, nobody want to watch some old ass playing video games, I guess. But ended up not doing it. You know, just kind of left it there. And then when Eric and I started getting together and doing these investigations, you know, doing some of our first ones, we were like, dude, we just need to just put this stuff on YouTube, you know. And everyone's a critic, you know, on YouTube, Reddit. Oh God, it's the black cat.
Shout out Lady Skull Crusher.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, if another black cat walks by, and it's definitely a glitch in the matrix. But anyway, we started doing the whole YouTube bit. We started out kind of doing two separate channels. We wanted to have kind of on my side, we did more of the quick videos, your TikTok videos, your YouTube shorts, stuff like that. Because I do a lot of work. I do a lot of, you know, just work, my day-to-day work, stuff like that. So I found it hard to put these like 16, 20-minute videos together sometimes. So, and especially after you spend a whole week looking at evidence after you get back, and I'm probably talk more about that later, but I mean, there's just not a whole lot of time left. So I started doing the shorter stuff. Eric started really doing more because he's a night owl. He'll stay up late doing all the editing and all that stuff. So his channel was going to be more of the longer videos. So that's kind of where we went with that. But we're actually in the process of kind of rebranding things. We'll stick with the Ghosty Bros name, but we may do like a rebrand with the logo and stuff like that. But we're still the ultimate end game. The goal is still going to be the same. So
Paranormal investigators.
yep.
That's so cool that we have these guys right here on this fucking podcast. Tell me about the first time you guys did one, or like, what's like a big experience that where you were like, oh shit, together.
Well,
How did y'all meet? I guess it's. Have y'all covered that already?
They met at a barbecue.
yep.
Okay.
Barbecue with a mutual friend.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll speak to at least the first one that we did, because, you know, we were getting after it, and, you know, you follow all the same channels if you're into the paranormal and you're into like these ghost hunting videos. A lot of people on YouTube are talking about other channels, like Nuke's Top 5 is a very popular one.
Is that what you showed us?
Yeah, you know Nukes. There's just tons of different ones out there. I always was a fan of Nuke's Top 5. I liked how I love countdown videos. Like, I don't want to just sit there and just watch things. I want to see like the ones that really stick out, so that you're not wasting my damn time. So anyway, we decided to do the first investigation, which was going to be here in Lubbock, because it's just easier for us to get together and do that. So we went. Have y'all heard of the Woodrow Manor?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We never got to go over there. Fuck. Hell yeah.
We actually have 2 videos on that.
Is it
So,
true that they
2
were
different nights.
cutting puppies out of the belly?
So, I can give you pretty much the story. Fortunate enough to really pull like old police reports, like
Sweet. Hell
like,
yeah.
different
Let's hear
types
about
of-
it. Let's hear about
as
it.
well.
do what?
We don't
There
even
were
have to
old,
go anymore.
Court records. Of
Yeah,
that
the
as
old
well.
court records. And
Okay,
stuff.
okay, what's going on?
Yeah,
So it wasn't as malicious as the urban legends are,
Yeah.
but
Those are always fun.
yeah.
basically it was a botched C-section on a dog, and they accidentally sewed puppies back up in the mom. So,
But so that did happen.
Accidentally is a term that
I was about to
we
say,
can use
how did
a
that
little
happen?
loosely. But he's right though. I don't know if in this vet's mind she thought if I put this stillborn puppy back inside its mom, it'll come to life and it'll give birth to it, or what the hell the deal was. But Eric's right. That's what she did. The owner of the dog brought the dog back and said, "Hey, you know what? Well, let me rewind a little bit. The owner thinks that she took all the puppies out. So the dog starts being in pain after she gets it home. So a week later, brings it back to that vet who was working out of that house at the time, brings the dog back up there, only to find out that woman had sewed that stillborn puppy back into the mom dog. Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe you're saying maybe she's thought I can save this puppy.
I think that might have been the thought process behind it. But once that dog's, things don't go back up in
All
there.
right, I want to rewind a little bit.
All right.
So for anybody from Lubbock and that's familiar with this place, it's not old. It was built
No.
very
Like
recently.
92.
If you drive by, it looks like a modern home.
Yeah.
Who has all lived there? Can you guys tell me that?
Well, there was the vet hospital out of there. So there was a family. So this is going back to the darker history here. So
Okay. I've heard about this family.
Okay, there was a family that lived there, and there was a custody dispute. So if we're talking about the same family, but there was a custody dispute where the dad showed up. They were having a birthday party for one of the kids, and funny enough, when I looked at the court documents in the arrest documents, the sheriff at the time was someone who actually worked with my wife as a coworker. So her dad's name's mentioned in this. Anyway, we're reading through it, and so what happened was the dad shows up there during a party for one of his kids, and he's like, "I want to see my kids," basically. He gets to the end of the road. So y'all been down Woodrow Road. Y'all know where the edge of the road is to that house.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets out there, and he's making a scene or whatever. So the cops show up there, and they end up shooting him, and he was unarmed. And I say the cops, it was the sheriff's department, but they show up there and they shoot him, and he was unarmed. So that was kind of some of the things that we knew going into it, that there could be this guy that.
Now, why are you saying he's unarmed? What did he do to provoke this? Is that
He was yelling.
Is that on record why he got shot?
The only thing it talks about is him causing a scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, no real details in this. It's just he was causing a scene, causing problems for the family. They called the cops out there, and the sheriff's department shows up, and he's uncooperative, and then that leads to him being shot.
Did he die in the house?
Was it at the front door, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm
No,
wondering.
it was actually, there's a huge ditch when you first turn in, like you're turning into the house. There's a ditch that literally, if you drop off the side in your car, you're fucked.
which almost happened.
Which did almost happen in his truck.
It's a long, narrow path
Yeah,
to the
it's a-
house.
yeah.
You got.
So he was causing a scene out there by the road. And so now what else happened after that? You don't know. But after a while, though, I guess the cops had enough, and they
Okay.
shot him.
So you guys investigate this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get permission to go in there?
I mean, who do you ask?
Okay,
For an
so-
abandoned house.
Okay, that's what I said.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Take me through it all.
No. So the one reason that really stood out because of this place was a friend of mine who's a realtor here in town texted me, and he knew about when me and Eric wanted to get into ghost hunting. So he texted me and he goes, "Hey, y'all need to go check out that house off Woodrow Road." And I'm like, and at first I'm like, "What house is he talking about?" Because
That sounds like permission.
yeah, realtor permission. No. But I'm not from here, so I didn't even know what he was talking about. So I drove out there, and I was telling Eric about it, and we started doing the research online. We have a Discord, so we collect any evidence or any information we get. We pass it back and forth in Discord and just kind of keep up with it. Anyway, I told him about it. Long story short, we ended up going out there during the day just to check it out. And even during the day, that place is fucking eerie. Like, all of a sudden, it sucks too because there's busted windows. It's windy like 24/7 here in Lubbock. We're sitting here walking around just trying to like check things out or something. Wind hits one of the doors inside this place and just slams shut. I literally like crapped in my pants. Like, it scared the holy shit out of us.
Yeah, because it was the summer. We went to go celebrate someone's birthday that's down the street from there. And I was telling Roy about it on the way, and I was like, hey, when we're done, I got to show you this place. And we were planning on, because after that, I went into the driveway. Usually I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. But I pulled in and something told me to back out of it, and I did.
He's got the intuition.
But on top of that, too, I mean, I don't want to. I mean, yeah, it could be ghosts, but on top of that too, I mean, who's to say? I mean, the grass was tall. Rattlesnakes are crazy at that time too. So something just told me like, no, like don't.
Oh.
So
It's definitely
the
not
Black
a,
Widows are there.
definitely not a safe place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. For everybody listening, would not recommend going in there.
Don't do that.
especially during the summer.
Every single
Disclaimer.
step, you're stepping on broken glass. We
Nails.
saw nails, broken planks everywhere. Every window is shattered. You never know what homeless person is camping out in there. There was actually a mattress in the master bedroom closet from where somebody was
squatting.
So after
squatting
that
at
night,
some
he's
point.
talking about. And again, you can't really believe everything online.
Yeah.
I looked up that on TikTok, and all the comments were like, "We used to party there, do drugs there, we used
Yeah.
to fuck there." I was like, that's more real than the ghost. So I'm not gonna
Party
go
and do
there.
drugs. Okay, cool. Who the fuck's fucking in there?
High
though?
schoolers.
Oh, that place is nasty. You lay down in there.
That's
You don't know.
tetanus.
Yeah.
Well, it's just wild because I mean that area is like gold when it comes to real estate,
Right.
And right with it being right across where the high school's at,
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like how come none of that's. You would think someone would either rebuild it or fix it up, but no one's really,
So funny you mentioned that. Have y'all heard about this outer loop that's being built way out there? That house is now owned by the company that's doing the outer loop. So,
Demolish it.
yeah, I think that's probably the ultimate plan. But what's crazy is I've seen other videos on YouTube too of kids going into this house doing their own like little ghost hunting thing in there as well. A lot of the times it's them just throwing glass on the ground and busting stuff, so whatever. But I think that eventually though it's gonna just be taken down because it's just so dangerous. Like you go walking up the freaking balcony side inside. So when you first walk in, you have to come in through the back mostly because the front door is just overgrown with grass and weeds and everything. So we go through the back door, but there's a staircase that goes up to the top. There's no freaking, like, what is it called, a banister or whatever, like to block
Like a railing?
Yeah, a railing. Thank you. There's no railing, and then there's like a part where you would cross where the railing would be on the second floor. There's nothing there. One misstep, you're going off that side of that, and yeah, it may be just one floor down, but it's gonna fucking hurt.
Damn.
So that part was kind of scary. Like I mentioned earlier, I hate spiders. So everywhere you turn, there's a fucking black widow.
You know, I was talking about West Nile.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't die from black widows. Don't fuck with them, but a lot of people don't die from either.
which is
I grew up believing they did.
dude, right? Like I always thought, I was like, I don't want something the size of a $50 touching me, and then all of a sudden I'm freaking dead. So spiders always creep me out. But
So did y'all pick up anything there?
Yeah, we did. I think probably one of our best pieces of evidence ever was from our first night there. We actually got a full-bodied apparition there. And so we were investigating kind of from the living room. So there was like a dentist hospital chair kind of thing in the living room that was left there from the haunted house that used to operate out of there. We were just kind of hanging around there. Heard a noise coming from the sunroom in the back, which I'm assuming it was a sunroom. It's really hard to tell the layout of the house, honestly, at this point, because everything's just so demolished. So we're sitting there, and we hear a noise, and I pan over, and right as I pan over, and I didn't see it at the time, but the camera picked it up, the it's full silhouette of what looks like. You could see head, arms, pretty much halfway down the legs and everything, and it's there for a split second and then gone. So we didn't. I remember we got home after the investigation, and I immediately started looking over evidence. And as soon as I saw that, I was calling him like, "Holy shit, man! We got a full-bodied apparition, dude!"
Have y'all ever messed with the? They used to be on the Xbox Connect.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
so
This
Where's
guy
the dots?
actually built one.
I built one.
You built one?
I
Damn.
built one last year. The
Nice.
SLS camera or XLS camera now. But yeah, so I took an old Xbox Connect. I got one from. It's fun. The funniest things that you can like build with to do these things like off eBay. But I bought an old Connect off eBay. I had an old tablet laying around, and so got the software and everything, put it together, got it working. But we have one. We use it quite frequently. It's usually one of the last things we'll use because we'll kind of mesh some of the investigation. We'll kind of do multiple things at once. So we'll always carry around an EMF detector. So we'll always carry one of those around, and then a lot of the times we'll have the REM pod or a spirit box or something like that. But the SLS, because it's just so bulky, carrying it around after a while, you really get a bicep workout because you're holding it. You're trying to find which angle, which position is going to help, what's going to feel the best. But we've had a few stick figures show up like. And let me also say this too. I mean, and I know you're talking like everything is as real as this table, right? We always try. We're the same way. We want to believe that what we capture is the real deal.
But at the same time,
the first
we
thing,
don't want to believe it's real if it's not. If it's just like an error or
if
something.
we can
like
debunk,
I get that, yeah.
if we can
figure out
debunk
what
it,
You
was.
should debunk it, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
and that's the problem I felt like, and that was one of the things when we were starting this channel that I didn't want to be was another. And I'm saying we're not big by any means, but I didn't want to be another YouTube channel where you watch them and all it is reaction. You know, everything, you know, they hear a click or a boom over here and it's an immediate reaction, and that's what you're
Like, what
getting
was
on
that?
camera. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything is always what is that or what was that?
It's like the only entertainment value from a lot of channels is getting people's reaction from it. But I
Jen-
want to see the actual evidence.
Jen just sent me a video of Zach Baggins farting. I thought that was pretty funny. What did he
Speaking
call
of
it?
which, we another reaction that we
Explainable
the,
flatulence.
the Aaron face.
Oh yeah, so from Ghost Adventures, Aaron on there, you know, he always has that like face for everything, you know, like, you know, mom just made cookies, you know, it's that excitement, you know, and so we would fuck around, we would do that kind of like just like off and on if we heard something or whatever, and if he immediately hit it and I hurt the camera to it, you know, so
Take me back to the Woodrow Manor.
all right.
Anything else happened over there?
We caught a few EVPs. There was one like I'm still pretty sold on it, and I'd love for y'all if you haven't yet to go watch the videos of them, especially the EVP stuff too, because me personally, I feel like I need justification that I'm hearing things, and it's not just I don't know if y'all know what pareidolia is. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's where you think you hear.
You find it. Like,
Yes,
You make yourself
you see
find it.
you see Mary's face in toast,
Move
you
that mic
know.
over here. Move that mic between y'all two. There you go.
But yeah, so I always want to make sure that, you know, it's not just me hearing these things. But that's why we run things by each other so much. That's why it takes so long sometimes to get videos out, because I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I heard a voice. Yeah, even at Woodrow Manor, there was one where we were in the kitchen and you hear this faint sound of a girl or a woman talking, and you're like, what the hell was that? Or like, well, there's one in the same place. We're out in the old vet area where she used to do all of her surgeries and all that stuff apparently. And we're sitting there and you hear my wife's voice, you hear Eric's fiance's voice, and then you hear, of course, mine and Eric's voice. Well, then all of a sudden, you know, we're talking or whatever, and it just goes quiet. And I think Eric may say something like, you know, is there somebody here or is anybody here with us? And all of a sudden you hear this faint, help.
Goddamn.
And I was like, what was it? Do you remember hearing this? So
Did you guys hear it or you heard it?
No, we heard it when we were reviewing
Okay.
footage.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
the thing about EVPs is you don't always hear it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with
Right.
your own ears. That's all.
Oh, okay.
That's why we carry with our cameras. We have microphones on the cameras that are, you know, better than. Well, even at that point, we didn't even have the microphones.
didn't
we
even-
just caught it on the regular camera mic.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, the craziest thing was too is that I always like to do angles, like kind of like what you're doing out here with your setup. Is I always like to do angles so that we can see if it was someone else talking or who it may have been. But obviously, Eric and I have deeper voices, you hear our ladies over here talking, and then you just hear a help. And I was like,
fuck.
what the hell? So I played it on, I got that from my camera. Well, then I had Eric go to his camera at the exact same time, and you still can hear that same faint sound. So it was pretty creepy. But I'd say that the full body apparition and the EVPs there were probably the ones that stood out. There was a whistle upstairs. I forgot about that. You remember the whistle?
And then the sassy ghost.
Oh, yeah.
The one I was talking up the stairs from the second floor, and we're like, if there's anybody up there that wants to come down, come on down and talk to us. And you hear say something along the lines of, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
What was the thing you say about whistles? Never whistle back.
So
Never whistle back.
that was
bro.
that whistle we got when we were downstairs looking up, and we were
Skinwalkers.
yeah
Oh, we'll get into that in a little bit.
we were looking
Table
up,
that.
up at the thing.
I
at
should
the
have
top.
brought some fucking notes because I have so much shit I want to talk about.
But we were looking up at the thing, and like all of a sudden you just hear like I can't whistle. for
Please
shit,
whistle
but-
back something.
Yeah, but that's literally
Please.
how it was, and I was like, "What?" I didn't hear it, but I was like, "What the fuck is that noise?" And so we're listening to the footage. Well, then you faintly catch everything on the other cameras too, and the other mics. So I don't know. We didn't go up there at that time. Didn't want to fall at the time, But that was pretty creepy.
Did you guys do any research on this vet lady? Like what happened to her?
No, besides that I forgot. I honestly can't remember what happened to her. I know that there was like some news crew back when all this happened that chased her down to right outside the convenience store. There was a short clip I found. Like I think it was on like what's that old stream video, Vimeo or something like that. Yeah, I think there's a clip somewhere in that archive of a news reporter catching up with her, but she didn't say anything. She just jumped in her car and took off. So
Well, if you're listening, lady,
yeah. Come tell your side of the story.
we'll do it at a neutral
We want
location, but we'll talk to you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want
She
her.
may sew something in you,
I
man.
don't want her over here.
So, what are y'all thoughts on Hell's Gates?
Oh my God.
We
You
actually
went out
have
there
it.
before.
I did go out there. This was actually before we even went to.
I've experienced something
before
out there.
Woodrow. We went there in the middle of the night. I snapped some pictures. Caught one picture that kind of looked like a pair of eyes in the distance, but other than that, I mean, it was pretty quiet.
Have I ever told you guys about my experience out there with the scratches?
Did you get scratched?
So we were out there, dumb high schoolers, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
And we have this one friend who we were just trying to bully. We're like, so we would all look at our backs and not show him. And we're like, oh, you got scratches. Nobody has scratches. This motherfucker had scratches on his fucking back. And we were like, oh, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be playing around like that. It was weird.
I've never felt anything inside of Hell's Gates. I've always just kind of thought it was just like lore. I know Bradley had said like on one of the sides babies are like buried by the cemetery. But so growing up, my yeah, girl, it's my turn to talk. So growing up, I was partially raised by my grandpa and my uncle, and in the summer times they would like let me drive in the Lubbock cemetery. Like I was like 11.
Nice.
And I was driving like my grandpa's big ass
Small town
brown.
shit.
Yeah, I had no business driving it, but he would always tell me if you can drive on a dirt road, you can drive on any road, and he would always joke, you can't kill them, they're dead. But
That's not dirt, though. Those
good
gravestones.
and so we're driving, and I kind of had advanced into like May Simmons, you know what I mean? So I could kind of drive through there and then parking lot and turn back. And so he is in the back seat, and my uncle's in the passenger seat, and they're kind of telling me to drive. And so I exit out of the cemetery, and we kind of go down that dip to the worst side where like Hell's Gates is, and then it's like it kind of winds, you know what I mean? And there's all the trees and the bushes and stuff. It's I've ran it before, and it's the scary part, you know, because
Right.
it's like, oh my god, if I'm gone in here. Well, I'm driving through that, and I think nothing of it, but it's also just, it was just so like, what is she doing there? As I'm driving, there is a woman, a little black elderly woman, in the bushes, in a pink pillbox hat and a like pink Sunday best. And she's just standing in the bushes, and she's a little elderly lady, and I just kind of was like, Like I said, I was like 11, drove right past her, and as I'm driving past her, she's just kind of watching us. And I didn't feel fear or
Right.
anything, but it was very much like, why is that little lady in the bushes like that? But she wasn't like crouching. She was just standing, like she was just placed right there, just watching us. And so I drive past her, and I look, and she's gone. And so I feel like that was maybe my first ghost experience, besides St. Joseph's. But
Wait,
Yeah.
St. Joseph's. What's up?
St.
with-
Joseph's, the Catholic Church.
Oh, have you experienced something there?
I don't. Okay, so I've talked about this before, but so I was 7 when my grandmother passed away, my mom's mom, and we're Catholic, so I mean, you know, we go to church for everything, and it was a weekday, and she wanted to light a candle, and the way St. Joseph's is like of course you got like it's your church, but there are like these like little like divots, like in the wall where they had like life-size saints and a candle, you know.
Yeah.
I'm painting the picture here, but like so she lights a candle, and we're sitting like 2 or 3 pews away from the front, and she's just crying for her mom. This is like maybe less than a month after she had passed away, and she's just crying for her, and she's speaking out loud like, I just want to see you, I miss you so much, I wish I could dream, like she's calling for her mother. And we hear a crack in the very back pew, like somebody sat. And these are old wooden pews, so we hear a crack. And then we hear, like, another person sat in another pew. And then we hear another crack, like somebody else sat in that pew. And then before you know it, like it was no longer somebody is sitting, it was like crack, 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 crack. Like it just snuck up on us. My mom just got us the fuck out. She just grabbed me, and she was like, she got so terrified, and she was like, we're not gonna look behind us. Because like the final crack was at least like a pew or 2 behind us, but that final crack, it was almost, they were so soft, and then it was very much like somebody was sitting, and then that very last one was like somebody like eased, and you could hear the slow cracking.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the only thing I've ever experienced in St. Joseph's. I've gone there my whole life. I went there like last year. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know that was necessarily like a ghost. I just feel like sometimes you know, if you call out to something enough, something is
Right.
if you're desperate enough to see something will present itself.
You're gonna need to get us in there. I'm just kidding.
Just go in there, bro.
So
Say
just
you're Catholic.
but no, just recently we were talking about this. I had told them like Hell's Gates to me I don't think there's like it's haunted. There's history there, but to me it's nothing like. To me, I don't think there's a lot of evil there.
Right.
Like a lot of people say there is. There are stuff out there. I tell them it's the cemetery that's haunted. Of course, I mean it's the 3rd biggest cemetery in Texas, right? But when we were talking about that, I had completely forgotten that one time I went out there. It was a clear night. And I know y'all probably can't see it, but like I kept taking photos, right? So it's like, you know, there's like a lot of fog, it looks like, right? But there's like this semicircle that keeps on, that appears in every photo that I take. And then like I'm under the bridge right there. But then I've forgotten, I went a little deeper, and there's something watching me.
Fuck no.
You know what? That's pretty similar to something that I took a picture of.
I was
When
there
went
by
out there.
myself too when
Yeah.
I took that at night.
Dang, you got some big old cojones, brother.
At least I used to. I don't know about it anymore.
We went up. Yeah, it's
Bradley, so we filmed our Halloween episode last week. Casually, like 2 hours into this episode, Bradley casually tells us, yeah, you know, sometimes like when you're at the cemetery, if you just stare long enough, you'll see people walking. We're like, what? And he was just like, yeah, like if you just stand there long enough, like you'll like see. And we're like, no, the fuck you don't, Bradley. Like
Never.
that's not normal. But I mean, so yeah.
It goes back to if
Bradley's
you're
our
open
little
to it,
conduit.
You know?
I told you
If
I'm
you're
open
open
to it.
enough.
I've never experienced it
You
when I
never-
want to.
Well,
Ever.
So, I'll play on your with the cemetery. So I mentioned earlier I went to Arizona with my wife. So we went
Hell
to.
yeah.
So what's funny is we didn't go for the typical reason you hear people going to Arizona. Oh, we're going to Phoenix. You know, we're going to
Shout out them.
Flagstaff, right? Instead, though, we went to what's called Jerome, Arizona. So now I don't know if you ever heard of Jerome, Arizona or not, but it's supposedly the most haunted city or town, excuse me, in Arizona. It's an old mining town, a lot of tragedies there. So I'm talking like during the mining era, during that time, if you were like, oh, if you were a white person working in the mines, they took care of you. But if you were like, if you came from Asia, which they had a lot of Asian workers that were brought over,
A lot of Chinese.
yeah, to do a lot of this work. But if they got sick or something were to happen to them, nobody took care of them. They were disposable. They threw them out back. Said, if they survive, they keep working. If they die, they die. No big deal. So a lot of tragedy there. So I mentioned earlier we went on. My wife and I we did a ghost tour. It was supposed to be a ghost tour, but it ended up being more of a ghost hunt because it was just me and my wife. So we got there at 10 o'clock at night. We're like, "Where's the rest of the tour at?" And she's like, "We're supposed to have like 20 people show up. No one showed up, just me and my wife." Well, our tour guide, she actually did some of the ghost hunting shows that were on the Discovery Channel at the time. So this was 2019, I think, or something like that. So she's like, okay, well, it's just y'all. We got 5 places to go to. Let's go. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'll probably tell you about the other experiences later. But just the cemetery, though, we go out to the cemetery and it's the last stop. And going off what you're saying, if you sit there long enough, you start kind of seeing things. Well, we're walking in, and the first thing we do when we walk in, I'm holding the spirit box. So, spirit box, basically the radio frequencies are going back and forth with the white noise. Supposedly it gives spirits the opportunity to speak through, and that's what you think is happening, right? A lot of people that are very skeptic about it, but
Fuck them.
Right, exactly. So I walk in there, and the first thing it says when we walk in is it goes, "Ben." Clear as day. My wife is a big skeptic. She doesn't believe diddly poo that's happening right now. Unless something finally grabs her and drags her across the hallway like Paranormal Activity style, she's like, whatever. My wife literally turns and goes, "Did that thing just say Ben?" I said, "Yeah." It said
Are you Ben?
I'm Ben, by the way. Yeah. So it says Ben.
That's actually happened multiple times on
Yeah.
our own investigations. It happened once at the Blackness.
Yep.
It also happened in Woodrow. We were sitting there doing a spirit box session in the kitchen, and one of the first things he says is Ben, straight out of the box.
My name gets
So-
brought through a lot, which I don't know if I should be honored, flattered, scared, whatever, but it gets brought through a lot. Anyway, we're going through this the cemetery, and we get to this one grave where the girl that's leading us goes, "Oh yeah, watch out for him. He's always known for being an asshole." And so my wife, ever being the skeptic, decides to provoke him. And it's just like, "Man, if you got something to say, just say it. Do you have anything to say to me?" And this thing just comes back, deep voice, like almost like a growl, and goes, "No," through the spirit box. So I was like, "Let it go, babe. You done pissed him off." But we went through, and there was just, as we were leaving, same thing, holding the spirit box. As we're leaving, I'm like, "Okay, well, if anybody wants to jump in the van and head back to our hotel with us, you're free to come with us." Said it as a joke. But
What the hell's wrong with you?
I know, man. I will tell y'all something else that'll be very embarrassing for me. But anyway, as we're leaving, this woman's voice goes, "Bye," right through the freaking spirit box. I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm like just in shock by it. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, as I've gotten older, more things like that have happened. I feel like more things are more obvious to me. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the tour though. There in Arizona, you'll get a kick out of.
I love Arizona.
Oh,
Got family out there.
beautiful. We actually only went there to because I don't know if y'all listen to Tool or not, but Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer, has his own winery and vineyards and everything out there in Jerome. So
Where is that? What area of Arizona?
I believe it's like 2.5 hours north of Phoenix.
Okay.
The real small town.
Near Flagstaff, kind of.
So it's probably about an hour from south of Flagstaff.
Okay.
I don't know my Arizona geography, so but yeah, no. So we went there just because she's a huge Tool fan, and she was like, "Well, I gotta go get some of this caduceus wine that he does and all this stuff." And I'm like, "Well, fine, we'll go to Arizona. I'm going ghost hunting, damn it. I want to go see some ghosts. It's supposed to be the most haunted, town, but yeah."
Have you ever gone
Loved
to Tombstone?
No, I
I've
want
heard
to.
that's a
Yeah.
wild place.
So when you go on vacation, both of y'all, do y'all try to find haunted areas, or do you guys try to separate it now, or has this stuff lingered?
I always try to find
Have
a
things
place.
like lingered or followed y'all?
That's what I was
or
gonna
affected
ask.
You?
Not that
yet?
I've noticed. Not yet, at least. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you do something? Because okay, so when we went to the Zach Baggins Museum, one of the things I took away was like you have to sever that shit.
Like the Ouija board, you gotta say
She was
goodbye?
like hi bye to the fucking doll. I don't remember what doll it was.
There are some like that though that you
Do
have to talk to
you
them.
do that though? Like
You know, I don't know if we've ever come across necessarily some type of relic or anything like that.
I mean, even these
That you
fucking
have
places
to
you're
work
going.
with.
Yeah.
So when we've been to the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum, which I'm actually really curious to hear your opinion on him.
Okay.
Because I have heard a differing opinion on him that kind of like is eerie. But so we go the first year, and the first year it's just Roy and I. The second year it was all three of us. But the first year, of course, they're well known for having that Peggy doll, which is like their Annabelle doll, right?
Yep.
And so the room that she was in was optional. Like it was, if you want, if some people just really don't feel like spiritually safe, you know what I mean? They get really scared.
Right.
And so the tour guide pretty much prepped us for like, when you go in this room, she's going to be in the back of the room. There's going to be a divider that you kind of have to walk around. So you're not just opening the door and you see her.
Right.
And she had said, when you go into this room, you will say hi, Peggy. You just have to say hi. And there's a spirit box. This is a live investigation site. So when you say hi to her, you're probably going to hear a response. And that's okay. That's what you're here for, you know? And so they're like, communicate with it. That's fine. Don't get too deep. Don't keep it too long. When you're done, you have to say bye. You will say bye. And then you walk out. You know, and it was just kind of, if you're choosing, you're going to say hi, you're going to say bye.
Right.
Of course. I'm just excited because like Roy's humoring me and he paid for me to go in there. And so I'm like, okay. And so it's Roy and I, and not thinking, I'm just like, hey, Peggy. And I just, you know.
that's why I said it, because I thought I was Johnny Cool, and I thought I'm not gonna say nothing. You say hi and bye.
So it was me, and I was like, hey, Peggy. And then in a man's voice, I hear, Jen. I'm Jen. And Roy's here.
Jen and Ben.
Gin and Ben.
Yeah,
there you
and
go.
so I hear the voice, and I'm like, you know, at Roy, because I'm like, I just got your $50 worth. You know what I mean? Like, we had an
I'll say
experience.
something about that because that happened. I didn't go into that room the second time,
Yeah, it convinced him not to.
I did not go
so
there.
Roy is pretty much like,
and that was like
leaving.
not even like we were at the door, and I was like, again, like you're saying that open mindedness and
Right.
shit. I just felt I was like, I ain't going in this room.
well,
Still
Well,
this.
so we walk out, and I'm super excited to tell the tour guide, I heard my name. You know, like I experienced something. You know what I mean? And Roy immediately is like, she heard a man's voice, like just trying to play it off.
Right.
Tour guide's like, that's not a little girl, that's a demon. So yeah, you're gonna hear what you hear. And then the second year, he had an experience outside of her room.
That was before, and I had no idea what we were
Put that mic to you.
going into. So, Roy and Jen were over here because we were like in the hallway. Roy and Jen were over here, and I was standing for some reason over here. So I'm like, I want to stand next to my friend. So I go stand right next to Jen over here. I swear someone else was standing next to Jen. I like the way when I think about it, I remember like saying like excuse me, like
Right.
kind of like that, right? And I sit next to Jen. I'm just there listening to what she has to say, and then I remember feeling bumping into someone, and I kind of turned and was like, "Oh, sorry." Well, when I turned, no one's fucking there, and I like bumped Jen, and Jen like stares me down like the fuck. And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I didn't explain it till after we saw the doll. I was like, I really thought someone was next to me. That's why I bumped into you, and it spooked me. And I never get spooked. I mean, I don't want to say I never get spooked, but it takes a lot for
It's
me
very-
because I've had some experiences and I've seen shit, and so it takes a lot for me to really get spooked like
Right.
that.
And in that area, because you know, like she's saying, it's optional. There was another couple that was like hyperventilating. You know, you would think it's like dramatic and
Right.
they're just playing it off. Like there was a girl that was hyperventilating. You're like, girl, sister, I feel you, because this is a very
I will
weird.
say this year when we went in there,
It's very active.
the tour guide had told us, like, just a heads up, she's been mean today. She's been really mean. And I guess, like, she had been vulgar, apparently. And so one of the girls that was part of our group, she was happy as hell to be there. So like the whole tour, she wanted to be the first one to go in. You know, she would volunteer. I'll do it. You know what I mean? So she was just having fun with it. And
Cool couple.
so it wasn't, no, she was the girl that was by herself. That she had a mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
the young girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
That couple was cool though. But anyways, so she is like, I'm gonna say hi, and so she's like, hey Peggy. She says hi for the group, and we hear, hey bitch. And so we're like,
She's girl might have been in high school.
yeah. And she was just a kid, and everybody was like, but it was just kind of like, oh my god.
She was not in the mood
It's
today.
very, very active. So like in y'all's investigations of all like the.
Let's put a pause, because they're coming and I have to pee.
Oh, I had a good question.
What was your question? Hold on to it, because they're right here.
Don't lose it.
Don't lose it. Well, go ahead and ask him. I'm just gonna go
Yeah,
pee.
exactly.
Go good.
So like when you guys investigate, you said you guys use like the spirit box and like the electromagnetic.
Yep,
thing?
EMF detector,
Okay,
REM pod.
Of all of your tools that you guys utilize during your investigations, what gets you the most success with communication?
Ooh, great question.
Like, would you say like, because like to me, I feel like in instances that I've seen videos of people using the spirit boxes, or even just with me experiencing it at that museum,
Yeah.
it's always just been like, I mean, you can see it as like things that are just coincidence, and you're hearing these words and you're just tying them into this conversation.
Right.
But I feel like almost always I've seen some type of response come from that. What are
Right.
y'all? What have y'all experienced?
I think as far as the spirit box goes, it really comes down to how intelligent the response actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're getting the radio frequencies rapidly cycling, and you might get a word or two from an actual radio station. And you don't know unless it's got to be timed.
Unless it has like just context.
It's got to be an
to it.
intelligent
Like a-
response.
like
Yeah.
I ask
Because
a
that's always
question
what I
and
wonder.
then you
Like,
answer. You know?
because you know, it's like say we're talking about a place, a murder happened.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, did you get murdered here? And then you hear the word murder. It's like, how do you know it's not just repeating things that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you
And
know?
that is a
it's-
possibility as well.
Yeah.
So one coincidence I'll give you, I'll say it's a coincidence, but it felt real to us, is that we were at the Blackness. If y'all ever heard
What
of
is
this? It's a haunted house, kind of like Nightmare on 19th, just a little bit better. In Plainview, worth the drive up.
Oh, we might have to go to that.
Go to it. Worth
Definitely
it.
recommend it.
Yeah, shout out the Blackness. No, it's really cool. The owner and his wife are fantastic people. Like, we got there for the investigation, and they rolled out a cart full of candy and sodas for us. They were pumped to have us there, and to this day, probably still one of the more fun places to go to
Yeah.
and check out, because he turned on the attractions for us. So even like if we wanted like the fog in one of the areas of the swamp area, where they said they had saw kids' heads floating above the fog sometimes. So he ran the fog for us so that we could try to catch something. Anyway, talking back to the spirit
That's where we
box.
caught our monkey ghost.
Yes. We went back into this room that supposedly was called a portal to hell. That's what the owner told us. That's what they see. They've had people come in there and feel this. So there's one point where that was where we also heard the thing say "Ben" again through the spirit box. So we're sitting there with the spirit box going, and the room is just dolls. There's like hanging dolls everywhere. And at one point, the EMF detector actually went off while we were in there. Like, we had it sitting next to one of the dolls, and all the lights. And you've probably seen an EMF detector, right?
Electromagnetic.
Yeah, electromagnetic field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So all of a sudden the thing like flickers. Well, then as we're sitting there and going through our footage, obviously we hear this static come through, and we hear a woman's voice come across and say, "Welcome to hell."
Plain as day.
Plain as day. Welcome to hell. And we're like, whatever. Well, then we're going back and we're re-listening to things. There's other things popping up. I think that my name and the response that we got there, and then there was a faint sound of Eric's name. So the spirit box is great to use. Love using the spirit box because, but the only downside is that, of course, it's number one, everything just like everything else, up to interpretation. But you were asking what what our favorite tools were, or what gives us the best responses. I think that we've had quite a few hits on the REM pod as well.
I was going to say that.
Is that is it motion detected? Or
So
how is
kind
that?
of, it's a little box with an antenna that comes out of it
Yes.
that broadcasts a kind of electromagnetic field.
Is that the one that has like the beep to it?
Yes. So
Yes.
if anything that comes in close proximity, the closer you get to it, the louder it
Think of like a
beeps.
force field.
So
So,
we're-
something
so-
enters that, it goes off.
So we're under the belief that that things operate on a different frequency, on a different plane. Is this how it's picking it up? Just a different frequency.
That's one theory.
Yeah,
That's one theory.
one of the theories is that spirits use the energy in the world just
so
in
it's like
general.
you were saying, like the camera
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's why a lot of times people will be like, "I just put a brand new battery in this camera," and all of a sudden it's dead. It's because they've used the energy and the power from that battery. And you'll hear us on our videos. We actually call that out. We're like, "Hey, if you want to use, we carry like 16 power cells to keep our cameras going throughout the night." So I'm like, drain one of our power cells, so that to show us something, to speak to us, to communicate. So we've tried to provoke a few things to actually welcome them to use our equipment.
It's almost like you kind of want to feel them to like get the best
Yeah,
response, or like
absolutely.
To, it's do you guys ever go into it kind of thinking like, we're gonna help y'all communicate, so please use like
That's what a lot of times we talk about, is that we're always like, hey, if you have something to say. We were out at a place, I don't know if y'all ever heard of Gay Hill School or not.
Where's that at?
I know it sounds fake.
Where's that at?
I know where
It's
Roy
right
went to
outside
school.
of Big Spring. Right.
Did you hear that?
like,
Right
I went to
outside.
Gay Hill School and everybody knew you. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my god!
This is PG podcast.
After
family
he told me
show.
I could say fuck.
Said you're
You telling me a
president,
gay
I'm just
ghost is
kidding.
gonna come after me?
It's quite possible.
hilarious.
You know the
video,
gays
by the
love
way.
me. Yeah, yeah.
I feel that. I
Maybe
feel
that's
that
what's
too.
wrong. I haven't gone after the gay ghost. God damn it.
You got to hit him with a hand. But,
Hell, I've heard that about Tombstone because there's a lot of prostitute ghosts out there, and so they say
Well, they love you,
they-
fucking asshole.
They say they say a lot of men experience where like their ass gets grabbed. So like, shit,
I'm
I'd be-
welcome.
I'd
Y'all
be down to go.
Y'all remember the episode of Ghost Adventures where Zach Baggins is trying
Didn't
to go
his
on
dick
a
get grabbed or
date?
something?
Yeah, well, he was trying to like provoke her to like get in bed with him and all this stuff, and I'm like, chill, bro. Like, how desperate
Well,
are
I
you?
mean, at Gettysburg, he got his ass grabbed. But
Oh,
also,
yeah.
but also, he was like getting on top of like a mannequin. Like, yeah, he was just like, this is what it was like
That's
to
what-
lay here.
It's gonna
and then he
bother
got
me.
his
Can
ass
you
grabbed.
scoot that mic up and you scoot up? Because I can see it falling right there.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, you can loosen it and put it back on there. I don't know which way it's gonna.
Do you guys mostly investigate like in West Texas, or what's like the
There we
furthest
go.
y'all have traveled?
I mean,
scared
so
now.
far it's just been local areas. I mean, we've gone 3-4 hours away, but nothing too far yet.
So is
it's
there
hard-
like
it's
a lot
hard
of
to-
haunted spots
You
out
get-
here?
There
Like-
actually is.
It's Native American land, man.
Yeah, that is true. So we've been trying to get down. Let's see, the town to the south, Big Springs. There's a lot of hotels down there
Yeah.
that are
They have that
supposedly
bed and
haunted.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most difficult thing is to get a hold of people and to actually get permission to go into these places that actually need it.
Yeah.
We've been to let's see, the Worley Hospital up in Pampa. That's somewhere that
Hospitals. Huh?
I had a
ghost
good. I have a
hunters
good one for that one. Yeah.
yeah, that one. It was on Ghost Hunters actually.
Have you guys heard about this school in near Post? You know what I'm talking about? Why can't I think of this fucking town or the hospital in Slayton?
The hospital in Slayton.
My dad was born in that hospital.
I'm not sure I've heard of the hospital. Is it the one that's like when you're first coming into town?
I think so.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything.
I just
about it.
those places are
Right.
near and dear to me, so that's why.
No.
It's creepy fucking places, man.
Yeah.
You drive out. I'm sure it's the same in Alabama and everywhere
yeah.
else. These creepy small towns.
Yeah.
There is just something there.
But there's always history to them too.
Maybe
you
that's
know?
what it is.
I
There's a
mean,
lot of history.
and it doesn't always have to be negative history necessarily. It could just be history or someone. If you're a believer that not everyone crosses over. Some people get stuck. If that's what you feel, they could just be someone.
Well, let's
stuck
get into
there.
this. What do you think the shit is? Is it all of it? Is it there's a nether realm that we go to if we're not settled here? Do we go to heaven? Is it hell?
I think so.
What'd you say?
Purgatory.
Oh, purgatory.
Purgatory, yeah. I mean,
Is it interdimensional? What do you think is going on?
like me personally, I was born and raised Southern Baptist. I was adopted. I'm full blooded Korean. My parents were both
Shout out to you.
super duper white. And so I was born Southern Baptist, and so I've always been in church. I'm a Christian. That's always been something that's been a part of me, but it's not necessarily something though that I carry around as a Westboro Baptist Church badge of honor.
Why would you bring that one up?
Because they're the biggest douche canoes out there. I mean,
they're the worst.
yeah. So anyway, everyone I feel like has I always feel like that everyone has to believe in something, which I get it. There are people out there that don't believe in anything, that we're just beings that when we're dead, we're gone, it's all over with.
Well, that's a belief system.
Well, right. I like to believe that it doesn't matter if you're religious or you just believe in a higher power or you believe in a higher being or you just believe in general that life has a purpose. Find something that you like and you want and hang on to that. So that's kind of what I've always believed in, is that, but I also still believe, because I've once again talking about being open-minded, that there's more out there. Once again, me being raised religious, I have to believe that if I believe that there is a God that I've never once seen before, there has to be other things out there that I haven't seen before that do freaking exist.
Do you think we're playing on this field that's like, it's angels, it's good, it's bad, it's demons, it's just wanderers, stragglers?
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier, is
it all of it?
But if you believe, though, I've come across so many people that believe in angels. We'll talk about their guardian angel. So-and-so was my guardian angel. There's this angel. But if you believe that there's these angels out there that are here to protect you, you have to believe
demons.
There's evil that doesn't want to see you successful. And that's the problem, is that too many people, even organized religion, believe that I'm just going to talk about the good shit. They're never not going to touch on the bad shit. They're going to keep it on the good end here. And, that's what makes people feel good. It gives you the warm tinglies. But to be full transparent, you need to tell people that, hey, there may be good chasing you, but there's also going to be bad tempting you. So,
brother, we had West Texas Files. Have you guys ever heard of them? Today, this guy, I can't remember his name. Sorry, brother. I think his dad got cursed.
Oh, really?
For scorning a woman, and he's been fucked with by something evil his whole life. And he showed us he showed me cats with their heads cut off on his yard and shit. Man, it was just.
Are you thinking Satan worshiping type kind
of? This woman was just.
We're talking about Mexicans here. So his father had brujeria put on him for hurting a woman.
Gotcha.
And he's just experienced all kinds of shit.
It imprinted on him in a way where it just pretty much became this very oppressive presence in his house, started affecting his kid to where he had to move his kid out of the house. Is that what he did?
So it's passed down,
he wouldn't let his daughter. It was on him, but he wouldn't let his daughter in his house because the house was
so haunted,
experiencing so much shit.
Right.
And he was starting to come out to his porch and see the aftermath of things that had been dropped off on his porch.
A headless, the cat, the head of a cat.
Right.
All over his house, weird shit.
No cameras though. Never picked up anyone actually doing these things, or I
don't think he ever picked up anything, but it was just full shit that would happen to him, and it was what the fuck is going on,
I see that once again though. It tells you there are. But, it may be a curse, but there's a person that caused this. People are worse than the spirits and the ghosts and the...
And, I've heard of that before. A person's malice, a person's jealousy, a person's anger can... Whether there's intention behind it or not, that it's energy, right? You know what I mean? That's
the energy
it's manifestation.
You put out in the world,
if you
I'm gonna
put
pray
it out
for you.
enough, you direct it at somebody enough, you can probably totally...
It's you're saying there's opposite. I could pray for you. I'm going to wish you well. You're going to do good. It's an opposite to that, man.
I'm going to fuck you up, man.
So have you guys ever experienced something that you felt was just evil? This is not fun.
During investigations or in general?
Just in general, any point of your life.
Yeah, anything?
Yeah, one of my first urban exploration or whatever you want to call it. Back in Alabama, about 18 years old, there was this old trailer in the middle of the woods. It's another one of those places that we were told, hey, you guys like to go check out these scary places. Why don't you go check this place out? So we go. It takes a while to find it. This place is not quite as wrecked as Woodrow, but still pretty bad. There's just, you can't even see the floor with trash and debris and stuff that was left over from whoever lived there before. But as soon as you walk in, you look to the right, and there is a Bible stuck up on the wall with a knife through it. And that should have been our indication. Maybe we shouldn't be here. But we, being the dumb kids that we were just walking around. We all we had was a digital recorder, and I wish I still had this recorder. But we were walking around, and we split up. There was 4 of us. 2 went to the back of the room, and 2 of us, the group that I was with, was in the front with the living room. You can hear us talking, and you hear my friend say something about he heard a shadow going to the back of the room. Right after that, you hear plain as day, almost like one of those old baby dolls. You pull the string and it says "Mama." Plain as day, we heard that. Every single one of us sprints out of the house as fast as we possibly can.
It was caught in the recorder, but you heard it.
It was caught on the recorder. We heard it. Even my friends in the back of the house, they heard it.
Yeah.
It was that loud. We went back in the house after that. Tried to find anything that was that could have made that noise, like any toy that we stepped on or anything. There wasn't anything like that. As far as darkness. Yeah, with the Bible stuck up on the wall, that was moved the next time that we went in there. They pulled the knife out. It was on the floor. We don't know if one of us knocked it down on the ground as we were sprinting out or what, but that was one of the first scary experiences that we'd ever had.
So you've never felt that when you're doing these investigations?
Honestly, and I don't know if it's just me or what, but I don't necessarily think I've ever felt anything that was such an evil presence that I wasn't going to go in, or it was going to keep me from going in or checking something out necessarily. I've had plenty of experiences that have given me that off vibe. So while we're doing this ghost hunting thing in Arizona, my wife and I, we go to this house. It was the murder house that they called it, because a woman and a guy, so the guy's name was Mark and the woman's name was Ruth. They were living together. Long story short, something happened. They both were murdered in this house. So that was the first stop, had the most experiences. And once again, my wife, the ultimate skeptic, was like, whatever, let's go in. So we go in there, and the first thing that happens is my wife takes the spirit box into the living room area. So when we walk in, it's we walk in, there's the living room, and then she takes the spirit box into the kitchen, which is on the left. And then there's this little, I don't know, like a den that's on the right. So we go in straight to the living room. My wife goes off to the kitchen, and all of a sudden she starts yelling out. She's like, "Hey, come in here. There's this woman coming through on the spirit box just talking to my wife." She's like, "Hello, how are you?" And my wife's like, good. And and then the woman's voice trails off or whatever. Well, then she's like, "Listen, I don't know what that was, but it literally, it just sat here and talked to me." So I was like, "Oh no, maybe that's that Ruth lady or whatever." So I go over to, there's a couch and a rocking chair, like a recliner, I mean. So there's the couch and a recliner. And so we sit the REM pod down on the middle cushion of the couch, and I'm just like, "Hey, Mark, Ruth, if it's cool, if it's okay for me to sit down on the couch here, can you make this device go off?" And the next thing you know, it hits red, green, excuse me. So yeah, it's like beep. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. So I sit down on the couch, and I'm like, "Do you want to come sit next to me?" And 5 seconds later, the thing starts doing all the lights of the REM pod. And then it just stops. I'm like, "Awesome, thank you." Because so the one thing that I learned is that you just always want to communicate with spirits like they're right in front of you. Like the way we're talking right now, that's how you want to communicate with them. Don't treat them like they're not people, because they did used to be people. And in a lot of ways, they still think that they are just people. So talk to them like you would anybody else. So I was like, okay, cool. So I take the REM pod, and I set the REM pod down on the recliner. And I said, "If anybody would like to come sit next to me in this recliner, feel free to come sit down." 5 seconds later, that freaking the EMF detector, not the REM pod, the EMF detector that I sat down on the arm just starts going freaking crazy. Like something literally sat down in that recliner next to me. So in my mind, I've got somebody sitting here where the REM pod is and sitting here where the EMF detector is. And I'm just sitting here like...
You're just their guest.
Yeah.
They're just like, so
I'm just so happy to be here, you know? And so my wife and the lady that's walking us around, they're taking pictures to see if we capture anything sitting there. Of course, we didn't capture anything at that point, but we busted out the grid, like trying to capture something that walks. Have y'all seen the laser grid that goes up? So we have one of those too that we like to use sometimes, but we were trying to capture stuff going through. We didn't capture anything, but that was probably one of the I don't know, best feeling experiences.
I was gonna say, like, as like your experience in that, would you say you felt them? Like you?
I definitely felt like
or like,
something
or like
around me.
You could acknowledge like there's a presence.
There's
there.
something.
It was just like.
Yeah.
It was denial if you just didn't acknowledge it.
I will say this: my energy was definitely manipulated around me. Like it was free. Like I don't think I was physically cold, but I felt tingly. Like I felt like there was something like here and here, just big chilling with me. Like we're watching Sunday Night Football. I mean, it was just hanging out.
That's so sad.
But I never felt anything dark or sinister or something was like angry, you know. So
can I tell you like the two experiences I haven't? Can you kind of your interpretation of this? Because I told you something happened in this garage.
Right.
Bradley saw it too. So we're like this, me and him, and I saw a white orb right here, just like come in, and I just wanted to ignore it.
This is live, right? You're not. This isn't watching.
I don't think we were. We had done recording.
Oh, okay.
No, we were recording.
Well,
I
I
don't
was
remember
sitting
what
there.
podcast
It was me.
So it was just us three.
But it was
And-
like in sync. We both went like.
I looked and I was like, I'm gonna ignore it. By the
I
way,
remember
before we get into that, you don't have to worry about all these people passing. I keep seeing you look over here. You're
Oh
fine.
no, over here I saw that was a food truck, and I'm like, shit, y'all order us a food truck, you know?
Subscribe to the Patreon. Maybe we can. So yeah, I see this like it's a white orb. So I'm like,
Okay.
oh, fuck. I kind of just ignore it. But he knew I looked, and I was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna ignore it. And he acknowledged that he saw the same thing. So I'm like, okay.
Did it take off, or did it just?
It looked like it was walking here.
It looked like it just walked and it just poof.
So fast forward to Zach Baggins Museum. I seen the same orb, but it was red this time. I saw two of them, and they were red at the beginning of the museum. And I'm like, this is why I'm never going back, by the way. I was like, oh, shit. This is 5 minutes into the museum. I'm like, motherfucker.
It's like rooms in, but
We're like 2 rooms in. Okay, I'm sorry.
well, no, like it was like we had been in there or whatever, but like, so in that area, it's like at that point of the tour, you're like in a really long hallway, and you have just gotten out of the Kevorkian room,
Horrible room.
and so, yeah, like you are, yeah, so that's like literally where you're leaving. So that's just a really heavy room, and it's a room where like women are known to just drop.
You saw one woman
pass
freak out.
Like they will always kind of warn you, like if you're kind of feeling a little fatigued already, if you're feeling a little nauseated, please let us know or get next to a wall. Women are known to just get drained and drop. And so, and whatever. So like it's just a very heavy room. So we get out of there and you go down this long hallway, and it's an old mansion that was expanded into like law offices, but you're still in the mansion part. So at this point, you're right in front of the basement, the staircase into the basement, and that's an additional like addition of the tour that you can buy. So if you didn't buy,
Of course,
that,
you have to buy it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
I didn't buy
it's like an extra $20, and you get like 7 extra rooms that you can explore during the tour.
It goes from 50 to 95.
Real quick.
But you get a shirt with that too.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, worth $50. But anyways, so if you're not going into the basement, you pretty much just kind of chill up there. So like the people that are going in the basement, and there's like maybe like 4 or 5 of us that are still up top, and the tour guide's like, all right, well, y'all look around, and then when everybody comes up, I'll kind of explain, you know, some of the items we have, because there's just, it's oddities, it's medical oddities, it's doll, it's just everything. And so we're just kind of standing there, and I'm thinking nothing of it because it's my second year, so I've already kind of seen everything. And then Roy kind of freaks out. He says he saw something, and he says that he saw 2 orbs, and he said that he saw them come down the hallway, and they shot into like a little, is it a dresser? Is that what it was?
They just kind of floated around that area.
So it's like this like little dresser
I didn't know
end table
what
looking
this
thing.
area was until she told me.
And then there's a red lantern on top of it. Like I said, it's like a maximalist's dream. So there's just shit everywhere. But it's the table, and then there's this red light, and everybody comes up and they start talking about different items on the landing, and they're like, and this lantern right here. At one point, Zach Baggins had bought what is their name? The family that was killed by the Manson family. The second one.
Sharon Tate?
Not them, the other ones. It was an older couple. It's literally gonna. Anyways, so the Manson family, of course, killed Sharon Tate and everybody, but I think the next night they killed another elderly couple. But so she's talking about this couple and everything, and apparently Zach Baggins had bought that house, and when he sold it, he was like, "We got to keep the lantern." The lantern was hanging in the room where they were bound and tied and murdered. So the lantern, they were murdered under that lantern.
They didn't even mention it during the guide. It was just there. And I was like, that's where I saw this.
No, she did mention. That's why I'm saying this.
Oh, well, I was just freaked out by the fucking words.
That's why I thought it was like, damn, you saw something, because
So,
like,
yeah,
you
so
know.
what is your, because again, so the white light that came in here, while it's like weird, again, I just believe it's real and shit, and he saw it. I was like, this is white. I was freaked out, mind you, but not as freaked out as the other one because I saw red in that one. I don't know, maybe it was the light. It was just.
So was the light actually on? Like, was it a red lantern?
Yeah, the light was on, but the fucking two orbs were red.
The light in the lantern wasn't red. It was just like the shade of it. Like the
Maybe
shading
is that what it
or
was? I
whatever.
don't fucking know.
Did you see it out of the corner of your eye, or was it right in
No,
front of you?
because I saw it moving, and Jen's like right here.
Okay.
And it's behind me, and I'm like. So again, this is our second time, so I think I'm more open-minded, maybe.
Yeah, but
I'm like.
you know,
I was just, but I knew we had a whole nother like hour and a half of this, and I'm like,
right.
fucker. And I'm thinking about this doll, thinking about the Jewish thing that they have in there. I'm like, oh, we still got to go through that. I'm fucked. I'm fucked right now, man. And the Kevorkian room, man. It's speaking of like feeling shit. You feel shit in that room, man.
Yeah.
It is a weird room, man.
I can't wait to go here. I've always
it is
wanted to.
a weird
It's really
room.
interesting,
Yeah.
and it's
heavy.
I mean, whether you're looking for an experience or not, it's just really rich in like Vegas history.
Right.
It's got a lot of true crime, and it's like I said, it's an oddity museum at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there's just so much to see, but yeah, the first time it was just more so just sensory overload because you're taking in so much, and I don't know, like I don't know if you guys have ever been to like the Museum of Death in LA, but I remember that when I went to the Museum of Death, it was almost just instantly draining because of just what you're around.
Yeah.
You don't experience anything, but you're just around such heavy things. It just instantly drains you. And it's kind of how this museum is. So it's just like that first time it was just sensory overload, and you're just taking in so many things, and you're also tense because you're experiencing things, and you're kind of, and you're noticing people that are in the group with you. They're also kind of reacting to things, and there's a girl that's getting paler and paler in your
this
group.
one girl was like ruined, like.
Yeah, and so it's crazy, but the second time around, I would say all three of us experienced just plenty.
Right.
I don't know, like, I saw like something visual in a mirror at one point. I saw it on a woman, and then I saw it on myself. At one point, I felt my knees being like pushed out from under me in a room. Yeah.
I think that a lot of it too, and not saying this isn't directed at y'all specifically.
Yeah.
In general, though, when you go to things like that, where you're getting into somewhere where you're entering it already super tense, super anxious, that weight is already compressed onto your chest as you're walking and starting this tour.
Yeah, they do a good job of that.
Yeah, so there's probably
And it's so theatrical. So they set this scene that's just they put you in this environment.
Which is what scared me about the second time, because it was worse. Because I knew what was gonna happen. It's,
See, that's what I was going to mention is you got to wonder how much of that is real and how much is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
brother,
you asked what our opinion of Zach Bagans is, and I mean, I think he started out with good intentions, and at this point, it's Hollywood.
And that's kind of
you know?
and so like I can totally see that, because then it's totally present in his museum. You know what I mean? He is
Because at the end of
Like-
the day, he's there to make money.
Oh yeah, and he's fully invested in set design and
We have nonstop talked about
storytelling
it.
and jump scares and
Well, he's also, I mean, he's hosting Food Network shows
Yeah.
now. I mean, he's got, you know,
So,
he's-
so what is y'all's opinion about him?
about him.
okay. So going in, I do want I want to know y'all's opinion on this. Yes, the reason why is because he was just a guy who was just in a creepy shit with his friends at 1st right? I remember that first documentary where like a brick and a stick was
Yeah.
thrown at them.
I do remember that one.
Yep.
OGs know.
Yep.
OGs know. Anyways,
We got the right guys.
so I mean, it's clear as day that's what they started off as, and then they snowballed and they were getting successful. So they were pretty much, they had their pick of the world of investigations. You know what I mean, or whatever.
And once you get the big networks involved, it's like
And then
they
it-
start running the show more than you do.
Yes, and then it starts
it's
going into,
more
like-
of like a Discovery Channel, Travel Channel. I think
True,
they,
and then it starts getting into
yeah.
like live events where on Halloween we're gonna
Yeah.
experience, you know.
Which
so
would be fun,
It
but then-
definitely gets very theatrical, very Hollywood, but also.
And if you watch that compared to other shows that are just going for evidence and things like that, it's like we were talking about earlier, where they're really more going for reactions
Yeah.
than they
yeah,
are for actual.
and that's kind of what it is
evidence.
now. You know what I mean? Like you watch a Ghost Adventures episode now, knowing Aaron's gonna react. Zach is gonna like make Aaron do something by himself.
You know,
what I mean?
Zach's gonna get possessed every single episode.
Every
Yeah.
time, and he's gonna get this like insane rage at somebody and be like, "I want to choke you."
Yeah.
But I'm not.
He
but
always
I
wants to
want
kill Aaron. I
Yeah.
mean, for some reason.
But I also
He makes the
wonder that,
face.
like, because, I mean, obviously, I'm sure y'all have watched this in their earlier seasons. I mean, he had a ritual done at Skinwalker Ranch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they had a
Talk about that.
witch in England do a satanic witch do like a ritual on
There was the
themselves.
doctor episode where he wore the old
The plate,
physician.
yeah.
the
Oh,
plate,
Oh, in
yeah.
Italy?
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's like he's
The Island of
obviously
Dolls.
also like exposed himself to a lot and like spiritually put himself through a lot. And obviously now we don't know if he's just really playing up this character or if he's just like truly like a little bit more sensitive just from
What
his
if he
years of
sold his soul
investigating.
to the devil?
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask because I was leading into this. At one point, I had clients. I had these two clients that they were mother and daughter, but they were going to tech, and one of their courses that they were taking went into like religion, and it was a religion-based class, but it touched base on the occult. You know, it has touched base on everything, and I don't know why. Like I was young, and I just was like, "What do you think about Zach Baggins?" Blah blah blah, and she was like, "That fucking idiot." She was like, "That fucking idiot." You know what? I think he was having fun at first, and I think now, as in touch as he is, he knows what he like where he's going, and he
Right.
knows the deals he's made. Would y'all? Do you think
I mean,
that he's probably like really dabbled in shit like that to like make himself,
You
Or
know,
has he
more
just worn down that
sensitive?
veil?
or yeah, or is it that you
Or
know
is-
it's like
yeah.
through time, like
He
you know,
just knows.
that's a hard. I can have my opinion, but
or
it's
it's like even like y'all investigating. Like,
What
from,
is
like
your-
your
yeah, what is
y'all's
your
first couple months of investigating to like now? Would you say like now you're a little bit more in tune, or you can kind of not in tune, but just kind of you can.
we can kind of feel
Everything takes practice, right?
Right. We've gotten to the point now where we can feel like there's just not anything fucking going on.
Yeah.
So, prime example, we drove, I don't know if y'all heard of Gainesville, Texas.
Yeah.
So, so we drove out to Gainesville, another location that has another haunted hill house. It's pretty documented. The owner's been on some different news networks talking about how haunted her house is, or this house that she has is. And so we go down there. I mean, dead of freaking winter, too. Cold as fuck. Only one heater, and it's one of those little portable heaters. So we go down there, we go, and it's eerie. It's creepy, yes. But we investigated. Shit, we were there we were there all night. We got it in
5-6 hours. maybe.
yeah, and we sat there and we tried everything we could do to provoke it. Did we have some EMF detector go off? Yeah, absolutely. We had the EMF detector go off first, thinking, "Oh my god, this is great," only to find out that there was a plug sitting behind a wall where we had the EMF detector sitting up. So, just FYI to the viewers, to y'all, EMF detectors, while great devices for communicating, the slightest bit of anything will get those to tick a little bit. If you sit next to your phone and you get a text message because of the text message coming to your phone and everything, that thing will go off.
It'll set it off.
Yes. So when you see people holding these and they're going like all the way to red, like freaking out kind of thing, yes, it could be something, but also in the back of your mind, also think that What if their phone's going off? You know, what if they're near a plug or a lamp or a device that's plugged in somewhere? That's how easy. That's how sensitive they
And
can
on
be.
top of that, as well, with how cell phone networks are now, and the cell phone radiation is just literally everywhere.
So I'm
You
ruining
never
my
know.
nuts by putting my phone near
The 5G.
Yeah, pretty
on
much.
in my pocket.
Yeah, the 5G nut
I'm
cancer.
ruining
That's all it
I'm
is.
ruining my sperm. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean that energy is everywhere as well. So
Yeah.
you never know when a phone call is gonna bounce off of the device,
Right.
and it's EMF just does what EMF wants to do.
Right.
So
Hold on. Let's circle back to you asking us about Zach real quick.
That's what I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
What do you think's going on here?
No, I mean, like I said about Zach, I kind of feel the same way you do, even in the way you do. It's Zach Baggins, and he's got the show to do and all that kind of stuff. Now, let me preface all of this by saying anyone that's had an experience, whether it's your experiences with the orbs or it's our experiences that we've had, or anyone else on YouTube that says they've had an experience, I'm never going to deduce that. I'm never going to sit there and claim you're a freaking liar and that you're faking everything, because that's not fair on my part. I'm out here trying to make, we're out here doing the ghost hunting. We're making videos trying to show people what we think is something, and it's the hate that you're going to get. You're going to get the internet, right? So I'm not going to go on there and tell somebody, man, that's obviously fake. You suck. Why the hell are you fucking doing this? If you believe that you experienced something, then you did. You did experience something. Do you need my validation? Absolutely fucking not. No one needs anybody's validation. If you feel like you felt something, a presence, something like that, then you need to believe it with all your heart. But just remember, though, you need to carry that with you. Don't second guess yourself down the road. Don't be like, oh, man, it could have been this. If you believe that you experienced something, you felt something, then take it to you.
That's why I said this podcast goes for as real as this table, man.
I'm with you, man.
They're just as real as everything else.
Y'all are talking about old shows, by the way, the Ghost Adventures. Do y'all remember the show Fear on MTV? That was
She'd be the one to ask. I don't know.
That
I think, okay, I'm not. That might be a little bit before my time,
Okay.
but I feel like I remember being little and my uncle watching it.
So this show, I feel like, does predate Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, things like that. But
Was
what
this like early 2000s?
Oh hell, this could have been even late 90s.
Late
I mean,
90s.
but it probably was early 2000s. When did Godsmack's I can't remember the name of that song. Voodoo. When did it come out? Do y'all remember?
Oh, probably like 99 or
Okay,
something.
that was the theme song for the show, and that would play.
Hard.
But what they did was they took people like us and they would strap front-facing cameras,
Yes.
and they would go and do different, like the hospitals, the
Do you remember Scariest Places on Earth?
Yes, yeah.
I remember seeing that, like
Yeah.
that one Polivio Island, or I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was kind of, the concept of the fear show is that they would go do that, but then they would have to go hide stuff, or they'd have to go find things, and they couldn't come back to base camp until they went and found something.
This is coming back to me.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember
So
this.
that was like where I got my, talking about old shows and stuff, that's probably where I got my first real interest in the paranormal, was seeing things like that. And I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go there. And I got to go to a few places, which one was in Kentucky at the Waverly Hill Sanatorium.
You've been?
Yes. And so did that whole thing. What's cool is in Halloween they
Did you
turned.
go down the shaft?
We
you
got
get to look
we
at
got
it?
to see the shaft and all that jazz, but we didn't get to go.
That just gives me the ugliest feeling every time
Where's
I
this
see it
at?
on TV.
It's in
Kentucky,
It's in
yeah.
Kentucky. Yeah. What's really cool about it though is after you do the whole tour through it, you get to go downstairs and they built a huge haunted house for Halloween that you get to also go through afterwards.
Oh no.
So it's totally worth it. You get the chance to go for it. Sorry, go back to Zach Baggins.
Hold on. Before you say that, the darkness, that's in Plainview, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have to go to that.
Blackness.
The blackness.
Sorry,
Same thing.
disrespecting nobody. That's what,
Oh, if you look up darkness,
they used to call me that when I was little. Sorry. But, yeah, Zach Baggins.
Okay, so
Is
what's
he
your thoughts?
legit?
So you were talking about
Mr.
how
Alabama?
you don't need validation from anybody to know that you have your own experiences.
Because I also think about
He
his
needs
Demon House
validation
experience.
from the networks.
Yes.
He needs validations from the ratings.
He needs money.
He needs the money from the ratings. So they've got to make something that people want to watch. And to be honest, like the Gainesville house that we went to, nobody would want to watch that because not shit happened. So if nothing happens, nobody wants to watch the episode.
Right. And I think I can maybe count. There was one episode of Ghost Adventures they found nothing.
Yeah.
Only one, and it was in Amarillo.
Goddamn stupid
What were they doing?
city.
There was a haunted house.
You don't remember that?
There was a person's house, a resident.
Yeah.
She was a liar.
Like they went because this couple had a little girl, and they were like, no, like this baby is
That was
getting
the one that they
tormented
didn't
by
clean their
spirits.
damn house.
Yeah,
It
that
was
really
fucking
bothered.
disgusting.
I
It
was
had
really bothered by it
cockroaches.
the whole time.
And then like, okay, like this is how petty this fucking crew is because like, the mom was like, I have a scratch on my back, and so she had like a scratch on her back, literally, and they're like,
The funny
"Are you
thing
sure?"
about that is you could see her actually
Well, that's what I
reaching
was gonna
behind
say.
on
Like,
camera and
and
scratching
he's so
her own
petty,
back.
and like so Zach Baggins, he's so like monotone when he recalls these things. So like, they're literally like, "Are you sure you just didn't scratch yourself? Well, you know, like you don't think that you might have could have like touched it?" And then she's like, "No." Like, and she's a bigger lady, and so she was like, "My arm doesn't reach that far." And then Zach Baggins is like, "Funny enough, we rolled some clips back for further interviews, and in this clip, she clearly reaches behind and scratches her back, and she had like full range of motion of her
She's
elbow."
more limber than we thought she
Yes,
would be.
and like I was
course,
just like, y'all
Amarillo.
really just put her on blast.
Right.
Like,
Of all the places, Amarillo.
Have
The worst
Stupid.
it was
806.
just a dirty ass
Yeah, the
house.
worst ADOS. Who said that? Which one? Yeah, it is.
It was just a dirty ass house. Is really what it was.
Yeah.
So how do you guys do that? Like, I get there has to be a production value to like because you're on YouTube. You want it. How do you remain authentic and not hide from that?
Well,
Because it's
honestly,
probably easy to go down. Like you're saying, like you could have somebody text you and your fucking EMF's going off. Whatever.
Right.
Have somebody in the back. How do you stay true to that shit?
I mean, honestly, for the most part, like, yeah, we have to edit our clips for time, obviously, but like for most of everything, we show enough that leads up to whatever does happen. It's really hard though because you're always gonna have skeptics. Oh my god, I got hammered on one of my YouTube videos. I think that they just went off on me. They told me I was faking it, and that we did. I forgot which one it was at. It might have been Connie's or something, but somebody was saying that we were faking it. And that didn't really happen and all this stuff. And I'm like, but here's the thing. I could respond to that negativity and just have a back and forth with them all day long, but they're never going to believe me. And once again, I'm not fishing for this one particular person's validation.
Right.
I mean, we get every now and then we hit a good view amount of people. We'll hit the 1,000-person viewing our video or something like that, and I get one person or even like 5 people out of that are just telling us how we're faking stuff. Whatever, it is what it is. But we're never going to win everybody over, right? It's just like the whole old adage: you're never going to make everyone happy. You're never.
So are you willing to show like a place where it's like nothing happened here? This place sucks.
Oh, that's literally
Gainesville.
Gainesville. Like,
So y'all did that.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
put that out.
Well, we haven't put that out. We
No.
probably could. I mean, that was.
That's what I mean. Like, would you put out
authenticity.
a place like that?
I would put out a shorter video and just be quite apparent and be like, listen, we drove, hundreds of miles to go to this house and do this investigation, but nothing spoke to us. Nothing worked, nothing happened, and I don't want to waste anyone's time just for clicks and just for views. So most people in this line of, I don't say line of work, but in this expensive hobby, most of these people though, they're over here, they make a living off YouTube. Look at your your paranormal files. Look at your your twin paranormal guys. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that use it. So yes, would they still make videos because they would want the clicks and they would want the monetization of everything? Then yeah, but where we're at right now, we're not gonna sit there and spend. We'll spend the week reviewing evidence. But we're not going to spend another week to put a video out if it's not worth showing something for people to watch.
And we also balance evidence back off of each other, and we're not afraid to call each other out and say, that's
Yeah.
probably nothing.
We're trying to debunk each other, basically. So
Are you willing to do something extra to see those things, like Zach Baggins, maybe?
oh no,
No.
I will 1,000% take it to the grave as God is my witness. Everything else, I will not ever, and Eric's the same way. We'll never ever sit there and try to make something up, try to make something out of nothing, because I don't know.
Oh no, I meant like sell your soul, maybe.
Oh, Jesus freaking Christ. Okay, sorry.
Or-
I thought you were still talking about videos. and
Maybe
stuff.
put your
Depends on
name,
how much.
put your name in that book or something. Maybe I meant like make a deal with something.
Me personally,
Would you be willing to?
I wouldn't do it.
No.
No, it's not something that I've ever even thought about trying to, get to that point. And I feel like if you're willing to like be deceptive with people, then you're already on that road to doing something like that.
True. That's very true.
And I don't know how much of that stuff that I actually believe. Like you were talking about your background earlier. I grew up in church as well. My dad's actually an ordained minister. So grew up in church. He was a youth pastor for a while.
Well, the
and
devil would love you, brother.
I grew up believing, in church and everything. And then I
gotcha.
I had my questions, and I would call myself agnostic at this point because, part of the reason I want to do all this is because I want to actually know. This is part of my journey in answering those questions of what actually does come next. So I don't know if there's a heaven or if there's a hell or if there's demons or if there's just dark spirits running around. So when it comes to selling your soul, like who would I even sell it to?
That's true.
I don't know.
Because you're talking about selling your soul to the devil. Well, you have to believe in the devil.
I just
too,
meant,
so-
but
you
you
mean
can
in
call it that.
general,
Make like a
though.
bargain with
Yes.
something else. I don't know.
The higher,
Well, like you're saying though,
if
if you're lying to people, that's a sort of a way of doing that. You're fucking lying.
you're already walking down that
Yeah,
path.
you're not true to yourself.
Right.
What's your guys' view on witches? Have you guys come across them? Do you know anything about them? You scared of them?
I wouldn't say.
I don't fuck with them. Just letting you know that right now. I think that
What is it? Is it a bruja or something?
Yeah, brujeria or
Yeah,
something like that. That's a Mexican for you.
Yeah, I'm too Korean for that, but I'm just.
I'm sure that the Koreans have some sort of fucking.
Oh, listen.
You were telling me about the Japanese
we
shit.
talked about the Japanese shit earlier. Hell, we'll talk about that, man. That's the one thing that we were talking about earlier. I think before we got started was that, you see all these movies that have been created because of Japanese horror. Like, look at The Grudge, look at The Ring or Ringu or anything that's prior. There's so many Japanese horror movies based on the same looking spirits chasing people, long black hair, whatever.
What do they call that spirit? I read about it in a book once.
I honestly could not tell you the actual name of it. I think it kind of depends too on which, what do you want to call it, folklore or urban legend that you go with. But I'm not sure. I always think about what I've seen, like from The Grudge or from The Ring. That Samara looking,
Well, because I remember reading it wasn't a nonfiction book. It was like just a Japanese horror fiction book or whatever. And as I was reading it, I was having to like stop and Google like what these like folklore demon things were. But one of them, I forgot the name, but it was like essentially like the interpretation of these films is that demon or that ghost, that spirit.
So the whole thing with like The Grudge is the premise is that if you die in a horrible, tragic way, that your spirit remains in that place where you've lost your life. So that's why when you watch Nuke's Top 5, you see guys like Zhao Nan and not Urbex Hill. There's another one that's always on there though. One of the other Asian ones that's always on there. And there's always something going on in those videos. And honestly, like I said, I'm never going to say that this isn't real. This is somebody else's account, whatever. But it happens so much with them that if they are going into haunted places in Japan where bad things have happened, then there's probably a better shot of it actually being something that's just unexplainable. And that's a good way to look at things. Are you not necessarily like, I saw a ghost, I didn't see a ghost. Did you see something that you just can't explain? And that's the way we look at things, is that if we have something happen and we literally can't explain it, then fuck yeah, we had something that we can't explain. Was it a ghost? Was it a fucking duck? I don't know. But I know that I can't explain what the fuck happened.
No run-ins with the witches.
No.
You in Alabama out there?
They're not really
in the
prevalent.
swamps?
Not really prevalent out there, I would say. There's definitely dark energy. Depends on where you're at, honestly.
Anybody can conjure up dark energy.
And I think that's part of what witchcraft is you're some of it's putting out positive energy for their different spells and things like that. Some of it's conjuring dark energy.
I mean, I would just consider it the same as like any other religion. It's all just like a manifestation and just
I believe.
What you believe.
I believe
You know what I
magic's
mean?
real.
You go to church, you sit in a building, you guys all have the same intention of, wanting a better, whatever. And people believe in the power of prayer, so I'm sure it can be in the same way, just in an opposite intention, or
Absolutely.
whatever intention.
Well,
Maybe you put
if
your
spirits are energy and you're putting off that negative energy,
Yeah.
then you can, the spirit can feed off of that negative energy, and
Or no, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say like with like stuff that I've seen like on Nuke's top 5. Not everything he shows is
Is gold.
Is
Yeah.
gold, right? It's that, but hell, sometimes he shows videos where it's like little tiny pixies or elves. Like fuck that shit, get that shit out of here.
Yeah, it's when they're in the forest and
But
shit.
not only that,
Cryptids.
nah.
I'm about to start talking about them in a minute. What about what about like we're going down that cryptids? What about like skinwalkers,
Bigfoot's real.
Bigfoot?
He's definitely real.
I'm sure he's out there in those woods where you're from.
That's the
The
swamp. ape.
chupacabras.
Honestly, that goes back to it's the unknown thing, right? That's the one thing that the whole, like I said earlier, that there's more out there than just us and our human skin,
and the
just
animals we
chilling,
know,
right?
or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's more than just humans and dogs and cats. There's got to be more out there. And you talk about Bigfoot, all those things, but skinwalkers.
Let's talk about them.
So, not that I've ever had an experience with anything like that, but just seeing the types of evidence that's out there, some of the weird fucking shit of, animals acting weird. Or have you seen like some of the videos where like they'll be animals and all of a sudden they just take form of something else and walk off?
I've seen some creepy ass.
Yeah.
Was that one in Mexico that just happened?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe that they're real. I believe that there's something more behind them than, I don't know if it's alien, I don't know if it's kind of
That's what I was gonna
an
get.
extraterrestrial, or if it is,
I'm starting to believe they're interdimensional beings. I really am.
yeah.
They could just pop in and out of anywhere.
But let's think about like some of the old Indian stuff too out there, Native American type stuff.
That's some spooky
Don't,
shit,
don't
bro.
cancel me for saying Indian. I'm sorry. Some of the Native American.
What was your name again?
Oh damn. No, but some of the Native American things out there though, like some of the stuff that they have fucked with.
They've been around a lot longer than us, brother.
Yeah,
And
and they've been smoking some of the good stuff too. So I mean, that might be.
And that's what I've kind of always said is, I mean, obviously there's always, you can call it a trope or fact or whatever, but Native American spirituality, like
Yeah.
their anger, their whatever, like it essentially stains the ground. And that's why people can really date back a lot of these extreme hauntings to like, the land, it can really
Ancient
date
Indian
back.
burial grounds,
What do
all
you
that.
keep-
Yeah,
Look at it.
we hear that a lot.
Someone's flashing the lights over at the house across the street
So
there.
the Mexicans over there.
Calling on the cats over. But like I've always wondered that because I mean obviously like I was just born and raised Catholic, but I'm a city kid. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? I've never really been raised on the outskirts or anything other than what I know here. But people that I mean, Native Americans are so rooted in their spirituality
We gotta get
and
one
their
on here.
lore and their culture, and they still on their reservations they still live a very rural life,
Right.
and they have these belief systems. I've always just kind of wondered if just because they almost like live so much off the grid or just kind of in a different reality than
Yeah,
you
they
and I
operate on
live,
a
day
different
to day.
frequency.
I've always wondered if like they almost have like a heightened sense of spirituality, and that's almost why
Right.
these things are so intense. Because I that's kind of how I
Well, think about it. If you believe that someone that's using a Ouija board can conjure up a spirit and that spirit can then get loose and
Well,
do
they
stuff,
can.
then you have to believe, though, that whatever Native Americans and some of their old rituals and things like that and the ceremonies
Yeah.
they had, there's something that could still be conjured up
like
from
these
there.
motherfuckers are still calling the rain and the wind and
Yeah.
shit.
So
You know what I
that's
mean?
why I
They
said
can call
that.
storms. They can take a fucking tornado away or whatever.
Right.
You
So,
know what I mean? Like,
do you know who Sean Ryan is?
That name sounds
He's a
familiar.
podcaster, but he had a guy who owned Skinwalker Ranch on his podcast. And that guy, that's why I said what I said. I'm a copycat. He was like, Native Americans believe skinwalkers are as real as this fucking table.
That's true, though. I mean,
And he was telling Sean Ryan that so he owns Skinwalker Ranch. The whole outside of Skinwalker Ranch, the whole fence is covered in like animal skins. And he was like, I didn't know what that was at first, but the Native Americans put it all around to keep whatever
Protection?
the fuck is in there
Oh.
in there, so it doesn't
and
escape.
so like yeah, that's always kind of just intrigued me like that, and also like Appalachian Mountain lore, like that has always just kind of intrigued me because a lot of those people, like, they're not Native American, you know what I mean? And they're
Right.
just, they
Old
are very
American.
much like, some things are just law and it just is what it
is
is.
what it
You
is, yeah.
are not going to do this with your blinds. You are going to, you know,
Yeah.
be in the house. But, like, what do you guys think about those things?
I mean, I can't speak to that.
Alabama,
I don't
you've
have
been
the
around
knowledge
there?
for it, but
It's creepy out
Have you
there,
guys
huh?
ever, like,
There's
looked
not
into
that much
that?
in Alabama, to be honest. There's not much. There's not much of that going on. At least
No?
not where I was at.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear any of that from the small town folks, you know that?
I was from right outside of Birmingham, so I wasn't really from the the small towns. Honestly, wish
I
could
keep
speak to
cornering you
that.
in the box.
I wish I could
My
speak
bad,
to
dog.
that. I wish I could speak to that. I just don't know much about
I
if
just
there's
think-
anything like that.
I just think also with that, it's probably different there because, you know, we still see natives here, Oklahoma, New Mexico,
Yeah.
Colorado, but there, like, they were pushed out. And that's true Bible Belt over there. So
Yeah.
it's a lot
Well, it's like what
different.
Jen's saying. Those people, the real rural people, they know what's up. They don't go outside at night.
right.
But you know the animal skin shit. I've seen because me and my dad, because you know my dad does tile, so we had to drive out like south of New Home, close to Hoka.
Yeah.
Like where you have to go through like dirt roads, like in the middle of cornfields to get to a house. And I've seen where people put like coyotes, like they say, like they do it so other coyotes will keep out.
Right.
But I've always thought that
You're
was
like,
fucking
bruh.
weird. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's a different. Those dudes are just assholes.
So I'll tell you all about a kind of weird hobby I picked up on when I started getting real big into this, doing the paranormal investigation together. Is I started, so you know, we all know what Etsy is. So if you ever go on Etsy, they sell haunted dolls. So you can go on Etsy and get a supposedly good spirit, bad spirit, haunted doll. A lot of the sellers are high percentage positive sellers. So I got into the hobby of buying some of these haunted dolls because I wanted to. I mean, I'm telling you, I put a freaking. So when I was getting them in, I put them in our guest room, like on the dresser, and I had bought a camera that literally sat on these dolls to see if any of them would move, anything would happen. So I bought probably a handful. Well, I say I bought a handful. I bought like a couple, but then the owner started like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you know, just kind of strange that you're buying, you know, a few of these dolls. You know, what you doing?" I'm like, "Well, paranormal investigator. I just kind of want to see, you know, what kind of vessel this is, what kind of spirit you have." And it had a backstory. Like, you know, there may be one that would say like, you know, little Jimmy died in a car wreck and found himself here and inside this doll, blah blah blah. It's a positive spirit. He likes to laugh. It even says what he responds to. Like if it's an EMF detector, some of them it's even like, you remember the old school dowsing rods, like they would cross. So anyway, I got a few of those and I put a camera up in there, and you know, I never caught anything, but I will say there were a few times I would bring the quote negative ones out, and so we'd be watching like horror movies. So we watch a lot of horror movies. So we'd be watching a horror movie, and I'd sit the doll over on the couch, and then my wife and I would be in our recliners watching the screen. I'd set the doll on the couch, and I would put the EMF detector against it. And while we were watching, I forgot what movie it was. We were watching a movie. All of a sudden, that EMF detector started going off during the movie, and yeah,
Are you insane?
yeah, a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
Exorcist, when you watched it.
Oh,
The new one.
can we take a little break and we'll talk about that?
All right.
Ever owned Hilton Hotel in Cisco, Texas. So if you look up Cisco and then look up Conrad Hilton, the building's now a museum. So supposedly the spirit there, his name is Irene, and so we hear about this shit, and I email them. Don't expect her. It's a museum, small town. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, they ain't gonna return. I get an email back from the freaking former mayor of Cisco, and she's like, "Hey, if y'all want to come, you know, I'll let you come up here. You can stay overnight in the building. It's all yours." So we're like, hell yeah! So we take off, and we end up staying the night there. And when we were there, like things started going crazy, like right out of the gate. Like so, we put the one of the stories was that the elevator. It's only 2-story, up like 1 and 2, and then the elevator would go up and down by itself. So we were like, well, we'll just put the REM pod right in front of the elevator. We'll go grab something to eat and get some shit from Family Dollar. So we ended up leaving, but we set a camera on the REM pod while we were gone, and that motherfucker went off like just going crazy. So we're like, so we come back and we don't even know about this yet, but we come back there and. So like, well, the REM pod's already here. Let's start questioning. So we start asking just random questions. Like, Irene, if that's you right now, can you make the elevator go up and down, whatever? Or Irene, there's trains that went by all the time. So we were like, do you like trains? All of a sudden, the thing starts going off right in front of our face. And then it was just continuing on. You're like, well, why are you still here? Is your husband still here? Blah blah blah. The whole time it's going off the whole time, which was some of the most, I would say, the most active REM pod evidence that we've ever got. Sure. And it was responsive. Like, it was ask a question. You always want to, when you're doing paranormal, when you're doing ghost hunting, stuff like that, you always want to give the spirit 10, 15 seconds to respond, because you never know how long it's going to take for it to conjure up enough energy to respond. So if you're like, are you here with me? Nope. Oh, see, I'm pissed off whatever spirit's over here.
What the fuck happened there?
Oh, auto power off.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Damn, he's scared.
Dang! Oh my god!
There you go. There's our
That scared the shit out of me.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad I saw the blue sleeve
I heard
first.
the door open. I figured it was it.
I kept on hearing noise, and I was like, "What is that? It's not a cat. It's literally not a cat."
Oh my god.
Yeah, these are ghost hunters, so everybody's.
You got every single person in here.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty cool place. If you're ever just road tripping I-20 and you just want to pull off and check out the hotel, though, it's really cool. But we definitely want to go back there. That's one of the spots we want to go back to. Also,
That's probably our most active place.
Yeah. Also in Cisco, there's an old abandoned zoo that.
Oh, damn. No.
There's an old abandoned zoo there that people say is kind of weird and creepy. But then they also, in the same breath, are like, well, there's a lot of homeless people that live under the old tiger's den. I'm like, or lion's den. I'm like, so we got to worry about ghosts and homeless people.
Have y'all ever been to the Goatman's Bridge in Denton?
Oh my god! Does every town have a Goatman's? I swear to God, I came from somewhere that had a Goatman's Bridge.
Well, this one's like more popular because BuzzFeed on Unsolved, did it over there. But supposedly, what had happened was it was Texas in the 1800s. There was like that one, there was one black guy that had lived there.
Yeah, Oh, Randonautica.
Randonautica. Yeah. So I had lived out in the Dallas area for a little bit, and I had some friends that lived out there, and I was telling them about it. Well, while I'm describing it, he downloads it. He downloads it, and he's like, "All right, I got my first location." Well, we go to. It takes us to some place where there's construction equipment everywhere, but there's like just a playground out there.
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird, just like in the middle of the woods, right? So he's like, well, it's taking us to this place in the woods. Well, our dumbasses were going to go see what the fuck was over there. And as soon as we're about to walk in, we start hearing sounded like a wolf, like howling. But it wasn't like a dog. Like I don't know how to describe it. It just sounded wicked.
Yeah.
But it spooked us and we ran off. But I told someone about this, and he was like, well, you realize in Denton, like in Dallas, the homeless people are like in the city. But in Denton, they're out in the woods. So they were saying that we probably were about to walk into like where homeless were at.
We call that the homeless den.
Yeah, where homeless were at. And one of them probably howled like a wolf to try to scare us off. So But it's not paranormal, no. But it's still kind of
No,
just
it's crazy.
creepy.
Like we talked about, the humans are way worse than the
Yeah,
paranormal.
true.
I mean, I'd love to get y'all's opinion because hopefully, go back and watch some of our old stuff though. But there is one. We're going back to Gay Hill School. Get it out. But so we're going back. So whenever we went to Gay Hill School, that was another one of our first investigations we did. I think it was after Woodrow actually. Yeah. So we went and. We swept it during, it was still daylight. We swept the place, made sure there was no one there. We got back there right before the sun completely went down, and we swept it one more time just to make sure there was no one there, no one camping around or anything like that. Anyway, we're doing the investigation. A couple EMF spikes here and there. Nothing too crazy. No rocks being thrown at us. Now, y'all never heard of Gay Hill School, right? Until we mentioned it today. Okay, so let me give you kind of the backstory real quick. Backstory is that this was an old school. The big open area of the place is the auditorium. The roof and everything was compromised before they were doing a school program in there. The principal knew that the roof had problems, but didn't do anything about it. They're having a program for the kids in this auditorium, and the roof freaking collapses, and it kills all the kids that are in the auditorium. The principal was grief-stricken after that. He went down to his house right up the road from the school and hung himself. So all of that happened during that time span. So anyway, we go there. The auditorium is still there. You can get up on the stage. It's all open where the seats used to be. So we're walking down one of the hallways, and I bust out the thermal. So we have a thermal imager. So we're just going down the hallways, doing thermal scans, whatever, doing a sweep. One of us has a camera as well, doing everything. Well, we get back home, and the thermal is one of the worst things you have to freaking review when it comes to camera footage because number one, I don't have a mic tied to it, so I don't know where I'm at. I just have to keep an eye on what time it was around that time. So anyway, I'm reviewing the thermal footage.
Up, by the way.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can show y'all what this is, but take a look at that and give me your opinion. But as it's happening,
Hit play.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a short video.
And this is
You can see the hallway right there.
yeah. So just keep an eye when it pans.
Yeah, go back.
Is that the longer clip or is it the
That's
shorter?
the real.
Nuke.
Okay.
Nuke could be like, "Did you see it?"
Did you see it? Yeah. So you have to keep.
Is it the first time they pan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see something against the wall there on the left side of the wall.
Peeking out.
You know,
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
when it comes
see it,
to schools, especially,
Over here.
Um,
I see something peeking out.
I've heard that schools are a hot spot when it comes to
Do you see it?
ghosts because they say
Boy, you see a little body.
because supposedly like in the afterlife, whenever someone passes away,
Oh, okay.
when someone passes away,
That was a wall.
yeah. But I've heard like schools are a hot spot when it comes to hauntings because when you pass away, if you want whatever goes on in the afterlife, if there's like a time jump, who knows? Like they try to go back to whenever it was their happiest time.
Yes.
So they say that ghosts tend to go back to whatever high school they went to,
Right.
middle school, whatever, right? So I remember watching this. It wasn't like a haunting video, but it was like a documentary on this guy in it was either Nebraska or North Dakota. He bought his old high school, and he was describing how his whole house, his whole living area is the auditorium. Not the auditorium, the gym. Like he made the gym into a house. Like it looks pretty cool.
Right.
But he has the rest of the high school. That's just all these rooms. But he says he hears like people walking and people running. But he also says like whenever there's a rainstorm coming, supposedly at that school, rainstorms get them riled up.
Oh shit.
And he just hears like people just fucking running in the fucking hallways, which I don't know, man.
So what y'all think of that video? Like,
Now that
Do
you
do you
pointed
see
out.
it? Do you see it? So that's the one that we kind of, I always like to show people whenever I'm traveling for work. or something
Where's
like
the
that,
gay
but-
school at?
So it's right outside Big Spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Luther.
Luther was the
small
name of the town.
I remember hearing like I guess it's based off that of folklore of like kids doing a play and they got their heads cut off and shit.
It's pretty close to that.
It might
I
have been
mean,
based off that shit.
Well, that video right there was like one of the better, like, what the fuck is that? Because I have another clip of that, like edited clip where it shows during the day where what it looks like. You know, like here's a doorway, here's a doorway, here's the wall, and you can perfectly see that where that thing is coming out of, it's coming out of the wall before that first door frame. So it was just one of those things where we just really, once again, can't explain it, but we sure fucking saw it, now. So, but yeah.
What to make of this? Ghosts are real.
Ghosts are real.
Yeah.
I mean,
so.
something you call
what
it
we're trying to
ghosts, you
prove.
can call it spirits, you can call it whatever you
They're
want.
all, I don't know.
Jinns. I mean, those
I
are
don't
like
fuck
the
with those.
You call him Beetlejuice.
Those are
Beetlejuice. Say
more-
his name 3 times.
Those are more powerful.
It's a great movie, by the way.
Next time
the
you're
new one.
the new one is awesome. I love
Oh
it.
man, we haven't seen it yet.
That's pretty good.
One of my favorite movies of the year.
Damn.
I never seen the first one. The second one was awesome.
You saw the first one the next day.
Oh, okay.
I think the second one's better.
Oh, really?
really.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to Terrifier 3.
Huge. I'm a huge Damien Leone fan in general, but like Terrifier movies, like the first one, I was like, God, the acting is so bad, but the kills are just great. But then you go to the second one, I'm like, actually, this one has great story to it. I love the final girl. I'm like, I'm sold on it.
Hell yeah.
Did y'all watch The Grinch, or what is it called, the Mean One? So David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, plays a Grinch version for this movie that was called The Mean One. It came out last year, I think, or year before. Definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, because the Grinch went public domain. So
Yes,
they were able
yeah.
to do that.
It's kind of like the Winnie the Pooh movie, you know?
Yeah.
Blood and Honey, is that what's called?
Yeah, did y'all watch that?
No, I haven't
But
seen it.
also,
You didn't listen to a damn thing.
Steamboat Mickey also was public domain, and they also did
Steamboat
something
Willie?
like that.
Are they
Yeah.
doing that?
Yeah.
Oh my
Steamboat
god.
Willie.
We watched last night, actually, In a Violent Nature.
Loved it.
Dude,
What did you think?
I loved it. When I realized that we're getting it from a different perspective this time.
And you almost get a trilogy in like one movie.
Yes. Like the thought of, like, at first I was like, what the hell is going on? Then I realized, I'm like, oh wait, you're just following him around and what he's doing while everyone else is panicking, running around on the other side that we see.
I loved it. I don't know. It got a lot of like hate because it was like so slow, but I was like, that's kind of the cool part. Like, and it's almost the scary part
Yeah.
of it is like, he just will continue. Like, it's
Well,
almost like
yeah.
he just will. Like that. Like, it was like the last like 20 minutes where that girl's just running through the woods.
That's a
and you
creepy
keep,
scene.
And you kind of
Oh,
keep
and then
hearing him
driving
hacking.
and you keep.
Well, yeah, but you keep hearing him hacking, and it's just
Yes.
like he's gonna find her. He's gonna
Yeah.
find her,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
just terrifying.
But
But even that, just the build of like he's
You
gonna
going
come out of
Alabama?
the woods. Oh my god, he's gonna stop the car. You know,
Yeah.
you kind of get this. I loved it. I don't know how I feel about them going on with the sequel because they already approved it for a sequel.
Right. I don't know. I mean, like, it got me. I will say the ending, which I'm sure a lot of people were like pissed off about. I loved it because I was like, the
made
suspense
you
level
tense.
was up. You're
After
like,
she explained it, I was like, oh, I get
You're
it
like,
now.
okay, I
I was
get
like,
it
because
now.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well,
Why is
because,
she
like-
looking into the fucking, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah,
fuck?
because like she.
That's
knew
real
she was
PTSD.
expecting
Right.
Him. Yeah, and that's like the final girl syndrome. Like they're like forever like fucked up because they're always expecting the next one.
I get it now.
That's why I thought it was the perfect slasher because it's already all been done. So
Right.
to see it from that perspective and to see like a trilogy in one
Let me,
movie, like you get his origin, his backstory, you get the sequel, and you get what I
Yep.
mean.
Let me
It's just-
let
I
me
loved
use
it.
my small platform of like 20 followers that I have. Alamo sucks. You guys have fucking dropped the ball. Alamo has
did it
completely.
get bad?
It's gotten so much
That
worse.
experience watching In a Violent Nature was fun though because that crowd
Well,
was reactive.
That was fun, but
And-
now we've gotten
And,
idiots
okay,
talking the whole time.
The crowd at Beetlejuice was not bad. They were reactive, but there's.
She's like, we're going back.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing, right? That's
we're
the
back,
thing. I mean, are you really gonna like get mad at some dude that was just like ha ha he he at Beetlejuice?
I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at.
But there was
Hey, what's
also
going on?
somebody- Yeah, there was somebody playing this day having conversation. but
I'm
you
mad
were
at
Oh,
that.
also
hell
very-
no.
Can't stand
You were
that.
also getting irritated at somebody just laughing.
That's
It
how
was just
serial
like
killers are born.
it was dead as
I
it was
know.
dead as a guy just going ha ha ha.
Well, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude,
I don't
and I
know.
don't want to get canceled either. But I think they were special needs, so it got like
So let
it
him, let him
elevated-
Put a card up and be like, someone tell
It
that.
elevated-
Blame it on Alamo.
Did you ever?
What was worse, him or that one fucking waiter that was like, "Hello, do y'all need anything else?" Did
He
During
sucked.
the movie?
He sucked.
Yes.
He sucked. sucked. He sucked. It was in the same movie.
Obnoxious.
Neighbors. You got me, Jumpy.
You got me. You're looking over on that side, man. I'm looking on this side.
Let
Still
me.
waiting for the face to come through the curtain.
Yeah.
Before we end this podcast, pretend like you're at a haunted place right now.
Okay.
What would you ask right now?
To the
Just
spirit?
ask out whatever the fuck's in this garage because I think there's something in this garage.
If I thought this was a haunted place or as a location, the first thing I would ask is there anyone here with us? Because I'm not going to get into all these details of everything. I just want to know, first off, is there anyone here with us and wants to communicate? You know, because I guess I could roll in and be like, "Yo, what up?" You know.
Can you make him ask him to do something? Let's see. What
Yeah,
happens.
that's always what happens.
Right now, do it.
Do it right now.
Yeah, let's just see
If
what
there's
happens.
anyone here with us, move that can of off that's sitting in the middle of the table.
God damn it, it'd be so cool if they did. We could
And
edit.
then we hear an EVP and it's like
Imagine,
Fuck, I wish it
imagine
would.
the gust of wind come through and just knocked it on. You know.
See, I'll be getting drunk and I get brave. I'm like, we see you, and nothing happens. Nothing ever
Well,
happens.
the thing you got to remember is they're not like, it's not like this little circus monkey you can tell to do a trick for me. You know, that's the whole thing about it. You got to patience.
Yeah.
Is
Well, I guess because you
massive.
guys are there 6 to 8
Absolutely
hours.
massive in this.
Well, that's the YouTube community part of it too. When you're looking at those videos, the nukes and the, I'm going blank with the other ones that are out there, but I know there's
like
a whole
Project Fear.
Well,
There's some
Project
guys
Fear
on
group-
Rogan. I
Do
don't
what?
remember. The guys on Rogan, I can't remember their name right now. There was 2 dudes on Rogan that were paranormal investigators.
Some of my favorites, I'll admit, is from the Watcher series from the BuzzFeed, Shane and Ryan.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Are they the
I
2
like
young
those
ones?
guys. Huh?
Are they young?
Yeah, the Asian guy
Yeah.
and the white guy.
Maybe they were the ones on Rogan.
Maybe. So.
Did one of them have testicular cancer?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know anything about their balls. But,
Never mind, it's not them.
no, but those two, like, they're great because Ryan is the full on believer. Everything that clicks and clanks, it's something. And then Shane goes back in there and he's like, "Hello, hey demon, what's up?
me.
It's your boy."
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, but I also think that it really depends off the energy that you give to, because
Right, if you're
if you
closed-minded.
are taunting and all that,
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
don't
doing
think
right now.
it comes to you. Like going back to going back everyone's all going back to nukes, like the scariest videos I've seen are the ones that are from Japan, of course,
Goddamn.
German or
Saudi
not
Arabian
German,
one?
Germany, Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
the ones that was like Bismillah.
But yeah,
Saudi Arabia.
but what's
would be
wild?
Do what?
Saudi Arabia would be
But-
wild.
Oh, dude, they fuck with them gins though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
I don't fuck with them.
what's wild is when you see the ones that are from the motherland of China, because I guess it being translated to us, it
The
sounds
mother-
weird, but the Chinese, I guess they believe the
I
China
am so
the
sorry.
China.
I am sorry. The
No,
motherland of
that's
China.
not what I'm saying. No. Well, I mean, there are some,
God damn it.
but,
There are some scary
China,
asshole ladies, but
but China's been there for years, right? But the Chinese, what they do is they have this belief that you're supposed to curse at it,
yes.
but they're supposed to curse at
The
it.
subtitle.
But in the subtitles, it's like, "You bitch, you motherfucker, you fucking
No,
asshole."
My favorite
Like,
is the one that says, because he's saying motherfucker, but the caption is wrong, so it's like, "Fuck your mother." And you're like, what? What is going on?
That is a tactic. Maybe we can try that next
Well,
Do it right now.
You
Do
know,
it right
we
now.
were-
Curse whatever's in here.
we were at, I think it was the blackness. Was it the blackness where we were told not to provoke and not, or I forgot which one that was that we went to, but they actually told us not to provoke anything and not to try to instigate.
See,
or-
I'm
that
also.
was that was Rigo was telling us about. They had some people be attacked at some point.
I'm also under the belief that there are certain intersections on this planet that break the realm of what we see. I think Skinwalker Ranch being one of
Okay.
them. It's
like a portal.
maybe a Stargate,
Okay,
a portal, an interdimensional weakness.
Are you talking about landline or
I'd-
ley
Hotspots.
lines? Is that
Just a
what
hotspot. Just a
Yeah,
hotspot.
yeah.
I think that is real, and
The
whatever
portal
comes from that.
But you can almost have that same belief system with anywhere that is supposedly haunted. If somewhere is supposedly haunted, maybe it's at some
I
point.
think there's something going on here.
well, because
Where?
I've even
Lubbock.
heard,
Oh, in Lubbock. Okay.
Because
'Cause-
me and a couple of friends and have seen some UFOs.
So that's
I think
not
there's
super uncommon in this area in West Texas in
there's-
general. Look at the Marfa lights.
I think there's something.
Isn't the Lubbock lights?
The Lubbock lights.
Lubbock lights.
I think there's something here, but that's a whole nother thing. I don't even know if it's.
some aliens and we saw them out here.
My friend's under the belief that if you do mushrooms, you can conjure up.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different podcast
Yeah.
right there that we talk about. That's a whole new episode right there.
He's under the
Yeah.
belief that if you do that, you can conjure up some shit.
Like I almost
Right.
wanted to bring that up, like when you were like, "Would you sell your soul?" Like I would think, like,
Hold on, my wife's calling me. Can I answer this?
of course,
Answer. Put on speaker.
like I would almost.
Hello?
I don't know. I just
Share
feel like
with
I
the
would almost
class.
think like if you're like trying to.
We're
get,
still
like,
here. We're wrapping up right now.
Let me talk to her.
more-
No, we're wrapping up right now. She got scared. She was like, I haven't heard from you, so I just want to make sure you were. And then she's like, she got angry with me. She's like, you were supposed to be home already. I was like, oh, sorry. We're wrapping up.
Yeah, I will wrap this up. But yeah, I was gonna say that like versus like actually like getting involved with like the occult or whatever. Like if you're gonna like spiritually open yourself up, if we're talking about like energy and like dimensions or whatever, like wouldn't you just do like shrooms and shit to like make yourself more vulnerable?
We're just down 7 beers.
Or just down 7 beers. But yeah, I mean, shrooms are always something, that people talk about, really. Because that's why people, I forgot what it's called, the thing in Arizona, though, where a lot of people go and they stay for long periods of time out in the desert, and all they do is shrooms out there. And it's supposed to be an enlightened experience and all these things. And
I just don't think we should like dismiss any of it.
no,
I think it's all like maybe it's not fully
Well,
real,
you-
but
you-
it's
you can't
partially real.
dismiss it because you can't disprove somebody else's personal experience.
Right.
Just like them folks in the Appalachians and the Indians. I think it's all. I think there's just so much to this fucking planet. It's not one thing.
Yeah, we could spend another 10 hours talking about.
Hey, but
Right.
next time we get you guys back on, you should bring one of your little.
I'll bring the whole set, man.
Bring the whole set,
You should take us
please.
with y'all on an investigation.
I was gonna ask that in the podcast. I was
I'll
gonna
be
ask,
quiet. I promise.
can we come
I'll be
out
quiet.
somewhere with
I
you?
won't- I
Yeah,
won't
we'd be
hear
open.
it.
You know
Yeah,
what?
if we get it,
Yeah,
I'll
so
get a hold of Rigo again. Maybe we can go check out the
the
blackness.
blackness, and then I was going to say,
I'll go to that. with y'all.
we had talked about, shit, I'm sorry about your freaking.
Yeah,
He
you're.
just lays it down.
No, I meant this thing right here.
That's
There
the
we go.
ghost. What,
There we go. Anyway, I was trying to talk to the manager over there at LBK about doing something like maybe Halloween related, whether it's bring some of the equipment up there and then we do like little tours here and there of the building because it's supposedly one of the more haunted spots in town. But it's always tough because you got the brewery there, you got the West Table, and people live in the freaking Pioneer building.
Shit, someone
that
recently-
building, yes.
Yeah,
Someone recently got beheaded over there.
Somebody jumped off the building.
Yeah,
cut the
so the
goddamn head
manager
off.
that I know there at LBK, it was his buddy that went to the roof and fell off and died. Yeah.
Did he fall off or did he jump off?
I'm sure that there's different interpretation, but either way, he ain't in the union no more. So,
Yeah, it would be awesome if we could come out with y'all.
well, yeah, we can definitely get something planned out, and maybe we can.
Maybe we just do it simple and go out to Hell's Gates.
Yeah,
Because
we
that's
can do that
real
as well.
easy. We can all just go out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's wait for these mosquitoes to die.
Great
Because we went this
In
time last
October.
year.
hoodies and jackets, man.
Let's
I'll
go out in
with that.
October.
Do what?
We'll go out in October.
Okay.
I'll bring somebody so they can fucking produce it because I don't like doing that shit. It's just. It's a motherfucker.
Or we were
You know, it'd be
talking
the
about
dream
11th,
place.
going back down to Old Gate Hill.
Yeah, we thought about going out there.
It's about hour and a half drive.
Hour and a half drive. We're
To
going
the-
out there. It's
to
a
the ga-
Friday night. Yeah.
to
There's
the
a
gay
lot
school?
of ghost towns out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the gay school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do that. That would be fun.
You know, it'd be the dream place to go ghost hunting at?
Mm.
The Alamo or the Capitol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been talking about, just wanting to go to some of the other bigger places. Like, well, I was saying before, Mineral Wells has the Hill House.
I've been
That's
wanting,
gonna- you
I've
talking
been
about the
wanting to get
hotel?
into the Nazareth
What?
Hospital.
You talking about the
The
hotel?
motel,
Minerals?
the
That's
hotel,
opening
yeah.
back up. They're
Oh,
redoing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They've been
The-
remodeling
the
that for a bunch of years now,
Nazareth
too. Yeah.
That's one that I've
Where
been
all the
wanting to get
Germans
into
are?
for a long time.
Yeah.
That was it was an old Catholic nun-run hospital. It's been shut down for.
Where we could go to Hotel
decades.
Garza.
Yeah. I've always wanted to check that place out.
There's a fucking little town outside of Post. I can't think of what it's called right now. There's a school there that I've heard is haunted. But we should do something with y'all.
Well,
Yes,
we can
but,
speaking of post, we should reach back out to that museum.
Yeah, I'll reach out to that museum there and see if they would let us. But that one's tough too because it's a matter of people letting us stay overnight, kind of
Yeah.
thing, or at least early morning, and being able to get out, leave the key, and then leave. So
I feel like the Cactus Theater is haunted.
it
But
could
that's
be.
a whole nother
I'm
fucking.
sure.
Well, boys, where can they follow you? Check out the stuff at.
You can follow us. We have an Instagram at Ghosty Bros and YouTube channel Ghosty Bros Paranormal. TikTok, same.
X, everything.
Every social media out there, we're probably on it. Facebook, there's a page you can go like on there as well. Ghosty Bros Paranormal. Just be careful when you're searching because there's several other people that have used names very close to ours. Then there's actually the Ghost Brothers, but you'll definitely know if it's not us. But yeah, I followed you on Instagram.
Yeah, I got you. I got your Instagram.
So,
We'll share that on the
All right.
description.
sounds
But yeah, man, thanks, guys. Anything else
Thanks
for the
having us
people?
on. No, it's been great. Hopefully we can come back and do this
Fuck
again.
yeah, let's
Some
do it.
follow-up times. Sure.
We'll do it again. We'll have this place dark, and we'll play at the ghost next time.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. I'll bring the equipment. We'll throw a
Yeah, we'll
REM
see if
pod
there's something going
right
on
there
here.
in the middle.
Brother, you guys got
No.
anything?
No, I just want to go with you.
October 19th, Fools and Ghouls.
Oh yeah.
Boo.
Go check out the Blackness in Plainview.
Oh, we're gonna definitely check that one.
Definitely check that out. If you see Rigo, tell him the Ghosty Bros sent you.
Hell yeah, we'll get you guys back
Marge,
on.
Marge.
Large
We'll
Marge.
get you guys back on next month for sure, and we'll do something with y'all.
good.
We'll see you
yeah.
guys.